This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where each week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your hosts,
Cheryl
and Jay.
All right, this week we abandoned watching Love Hurts and decided to do Hard Eyes, another spooky for the person who don't like spookies. All right, and I'm on deck for trivia this week. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, so Olivia Holt, who plays the lead female character in Hard Eyes, is from another movie. You said you recognized her, so hopefully you don't know this too fast, or else it's going to be too quick. She is from another movie that we have reviewed on the podcast. Can you guess what it is? We got like 79 episodes, so let me do a little
episode 80.
She was in another slasher.
Oh my God. Was she old girl's mom in Totally Killer?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of other slashers we did.
She is Pam Miller from Totally Killer.
Oh, she's the super shallow younger version of her mom.
Yes.
Was the worst.
Totally Killer, which was it was on Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Yes, we reviewed that. And Olivia Holt played the main character's mom back in time. So Totally Killer, she travels back in time to stop her mom from being murdered.
Karen Shipka's mom.
Yes. And her teenage mom is played by Olivia Holt, who was like the worst.
She was so awful.
She was such a mean girl. Horrible.
But she liked action. She liked sci-fi.
Yes.
Yeah.
She didn't want to tell anybody.
Flicks, but she didn't want to tell the rest of her girlfriends because they were like shallow.
Right. She would be like a nerd or whatever. So yes, that's good. That from that movie. I was like, I could recognize her face, but I couldn't
She looks much older in this, but I guess they dressed them all up to be early 80s teenagers.
Okay.
In those movies, or early 70s teenagers in that movie.
She does. I'm looking at the picture, and she definitely looks older than that. But I also have another bit of casting.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to make you guess because it'd probably be too hard. So the other character in this movie, Monica, is played by, she is Olivia Holt's character's best friend.
Right.
She's played by Gigi Zumbadu. Now, Gigi has a sister.
Oh my God, wait. Go ahead.
No, or do you know where know her sister is from?
No, okay. Go ahead. I want you to.
Her sister's name is Carmela.
Oh my God, it's her sister Peach.
No, but you close.
Oh, I was about to say
her
it's her sister Peach from You.
It was from season 2 of You. She played Jenna Ortega's sister.
Yes. Oh, they look similar.
They look just
alike.
They are only, let's see, they are.
I was close because I was like, oh, it's her sister Peach, because Peach was also mean.
They're 3 years apart.
First one. Okay, that makes sense.
They looked, because I also thought Monica looked familiar. So when I looked her up, I'm like, no, she's not in any. She's from ABC The Rookie, which I didn't watch. But then I was like, oh, okay, she's got a sister. Let me see what her sister is from You.
Interesting. Yeah. The one who also died.
Yes, the one who love killed.
Yes, because Joe was going to let her go.
So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, I like Monica.
Yeah, I really liked Monica.
Research on her.
Interesting. Yeah. So, close.
Two very good background histories for two people in Hard Eyes.
Nice.
Yeah, so that is our trivia. Let's get into the episode.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we've got some anime movie news. We got some reboot news. We got some big trailers that dropped this week. And we got all cast of news in the Buncha-Crunch. So I'm going to let you actually start us off at the top, because you probably know more about this than me.
I watched one series of Gundam.
Was it Gundam Wing?
Yes.
Okay,
we have the same amount of Gundam knowledge.
Never mind.
The first bit of news is that we got a live action Gundam that's officially been in development. They put a poster out. It looks like a star shooting around the moon.
It's not showing much.
I assume that's supposed to be the speed of the robot flying around.
I thought it was the alien. It kind of looked like the alien Earth poster a little bit.
It did a little bit.
Egg?
Yeah.
It looked like the Earth. Okay, but anyway.
So it's going to be directed by the same guy who directed who did the show running for Sweet Tooth, which is on Netflix, which was produced by Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, and I think it got a lot of award nominations.
I think it got like 3 seasons.
Yes.
Jim Mickle is going to be the showrunner for this. The original idea was to go to Netflix as a film.
Because you know how Netflix do.
But it definitely deserves theater treatment. If Pacific Rim went to theaters, Gundam should go to theaters.
Yeah, Gundam's too big.
And Transformers.
Yeah, Gundam's, you need like that on a big screen.
And I think Atlas proved that Netflix does not have the
oomph.
Yeah, they don't have the oomph for like a big budget, like robot action flick.
No, and it's just too small. It's too small of a screen.
Atlas had the idea, but the execution was bad.
The action scenes probably would have looked good on
a bigger
theater.
screen.
Yes,
yeah.
for sure.
So, what is Gundam? Gundam is a very old Japanese anime that originated in 1979, which I did not know.
Yeah, it's got a lot of series.
Gundam's been around since 1979. Mobile Suit Gundam was the first series, but it's a manga, so it was around even earlier than that. Okay. We did not fall in line in Gundam for another 15 years, which was Gundam Wing.
Which was on Toonami.
It's syndication every week. Just Wild Beat. I love the intro. I remember the intro to that.
Okay,
it's called Just Wild Beat.
I miss Toonami. Go ahead.
What is Gundam about? Gundam is about, it's in the future. There's a war between the people of Earth and other humans who have colonized the moon. So humans have moved from Earth to the moon. We're now living on both. They separated into separate factions.
This is
kind of like The Expanse.
I was just about to say, this is giving Expanse.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Expanse.
Before
I guess The Expanse is kind of like Gundam.
You're right. I was going to say before it's time.
So the people of the moon and the people of Earth, Rebel Moon, are at war with each other.
Don't bring that up.
They're at war with each other.
Don't bring that up.
And they're using giant robots in their battles. I rewatched Gundam a couple years ago.
I was about to say, I thought you was about to say you were watching Rebel Moon. I was about to say, Jay.
I rewatched Gundam probably when I after COVID, when I had moved into a new place right after COVID. Okay. That was like one of the things that I watched on Hulu, like back to back to back, while I was like trying to decorate my place. Okay. My apartment. I forgot it was so much like war and death in Gundam.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, it's basically like you basically follow a group of characters who their stories are interconnected, but they don't really run into each other and for like really deep into the series. But
fantasy.
They're like all individual pilots of the robots. These are like giant Megazord-esque Transformer like robots that they pilot around. They're not autonomous. They don't have their own minds. I don't know if they do now, but they didn't in Gundam Wing.
They should keep it. They should keep that.
And they basically just go around from place to place, like fighting other robots and causing chaos and destruction everywhere they go because they're giant robots.
Exactly.
Did you finish Gundam Wing?
I don't know if I finished it, but every time I hear Gundam, I immediately think Gundam Wing. But there's actually like Zeta Gundam, SD Gundam.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Gundam X.
There are some modern
Turner Gundam.
Netflix series for Gundam.
Seed.
Yeah.
I was like, I clearly fell off there's a Requiem for Vengeance was 2024. So they are still putting out Gundam related things because it's huge in Japan.
Yeah.
It's
they
like
have, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom Zero is still TBA.
Listen. What I was reading up about, because it's been so long since I've seen it, Gundam is like Star Wars in Japan. So it ain't no like...
Yeah, as far as popularity and how big it is.
It ain't no small property.
No, Gundam is a really, really big thing.
I went to go look up some numbers, and it says that Gundam generates 145.7 billion yen a year, which is equivalent to $962 million in 2024.
Well, you remember at Comic-Con, they had a giant Gundam display.
They did.
They had a giant Gundam robot display.
Yeah, so this is probably going to $1 billion.
Yeah, it falls in line with Megazords, Transformers, Voltron, Gundam, giant robots. I don't know what the story is going to be like in the movie and what they're going to pull from. They have like 30 different series with different storylines that they can pull from.
Who knows? Anybody's guess.
I'm a fan of Wing.
Right.
So Wing, I feel like Wing is when it blew up in the West. So
probably
they should go with Wing.
Or what we just most familiar with.
But I don't know. I think this could work. The Expanse worked and it had the same story, kind of.
And this will be a movie.
Minus giant robots.
I'm seeing trilogy
already,
depending on how the first one does. I'll be interested.
I'm interested to see what the casting is going to look like. They've already finished the casting for Voltron, and they're going to draw a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
They are. They just are. Because Voltron is also about a military space force who uses animal-shaped robots to combine together to fight the forces of evil.
It would be funny if they twin films.
It is another twin film. Yes, it is. Film. Yeah, because Gundams have an ensemble cast.
They might as well just put them out in the same year.
Yeah.
Like months apart.
So interested to see the casting.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And I hope they don't make any changes like make the robots talk.
No. We got Transformers for that.
Yeah. And other news for things that are coming back. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting a reboot. Yay. So people have been asking for a reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for a very long time. It was announced that Chloe Zhao would be directing the pilot episode.
Yes, just the pilot.
Just the pilot episode.
Well, I guess she could probably direct future ones, but they haven't ordered a whole season. They've just ordered a pilot.
They're probably going to do a pilot, shop it, and see if it gets ordered for the rest of the season. So Chloe Zhao's been attached to direct the pilot. That's exciting. We like Chloe Zhao. She's an Oscar winner, and she also made Eternals, which we love.
Which we like. Love, like, and y'all should need to go watch it too.
Underappreciated film.
Not going to get on that soapbox today.
And so she won the Oscar for Nomadland.
Correct.
Yes. So this is being described as the next chapter in the Buffyverse. I don't know where this is going to take place in the Buffyverse.
After the last season?
So let's talk about the timeline. So the series premiered in 97 on the WB originally. Then it moved over to UPN and ended in 2003.
Yes.
And neither one of those networks exist anymore. They are the CW.
Right.
I specifically remember.
I remember the WB like real vivid, and UPN, honestly.
Oh yeah, I love the WB. Buffy, Angel, they used to come on back to back and used to be connected. But I specifically remember living on marathon.
Okay.
And getting in trouble for watching Buffy. Yes.
Buffy was probably
because it was too old for me.
I was gonna say.
I was like too young to be watching Buffy.
Shouldn't have been watching Buffy.
But I specifically remember, I can't remember which episode it was, but it was one of the episodes it was a very early episode where one of the girls is not Willow, but one of the other side characters is a witch, and she causes her mouth to disappear or something.
Oh, well, yeah, you shouldn't have been watching it.
Yeah, I got in trouble for watching that. I always liked Buffy. I watched every episode of it all the way to the end.
I did not watch it to the end, but I've definitely seen it. I probably seen more. No, I think I probably seen more Angel than Buffy, to be honest.
It was fun. Yeah. That's how I got introduced to Joss Whedon for the first time. Because he made Buffy and Angel.
He's got nothing to do with this show.
No, he doesn't have anything to do with the show. But he was.
Said, no, thank you.
His efforts were much more appreciated in the early 90s and early 2000s.
Before we knew
in the first Avengers movies.
Right, before we knew what was going on behind the scenes.
So the new series is supposed to be focused on a new Slayer. And Sarah Michelle Gellar's Buffy, the original character, will appear in a reoccurring role rather than leading the series.
Which is
interesting because it's called Buffy.
Is it going to be called Buffy? I think is now my question.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
It's going to be called like Sabrina the Vampire Slayer or something.
So the way Buffy ended, because it's saying it's going to pick up, it's going to be the next chapter.
Right. So, I mean, it's picking up where it left off, I guess, with a time jump probably.
The way the last episode, so Buffy had multiple endings. Did it? The original series, Buffy ended. And at the end of that episode, she found out that, because the whole thing with Slayers is there can only be one. It's like Highlander. Okay. There can only be one at a time, and the new Slayer arises after one is dead. Okay. The magical forces transfer the powers to a new chosen girl. Okay. So Buffy was Buffy, then she died for like 2 seconds, and then somehow Faith got activated, which was the second Slayer. So there were two Slayers running at the same time. So
17 situation.
Right. So there was a black girl who was Bianca Lawson. She was the second Slayer.
Okay.
And then she died. And then Faith got activated. So it's always been Buffy and Faith. So it's always been two Slayers. Because Buffy died and
came back.
She drowned for like 2 seconds. But it was technically a death. So they activated the next Slayer and had a snafu.
Like, oops, too early.
Right. So there were two Highlanders walking around at the same time.
Okay.
But the series ended where Buffy and Faith basically found out that even though they're the only active Slayers, there's potential girls. There's girls that are born with potential.
Okay.
And
they got the shine.
The universe, right? The universe knows to give those girls the next power when one Slayer dies. So Buffy and Faith were like, "Well, let's just use magic, unlock all the girls." So they unlocked an army of slayers.
To kill all the vampires.
Yeah, so an army of these girls went down to the underworld and defeated the force of evil. It was amazing. It was kind of like the Battle of New York, but in hell.
What did that look like CGI was?
Buffy had a lot of practical effects. Buffy didn't really have a lot of visual effects.
Okay.
Unless it was like Willow doing something magic like. But so they marched down to the underworld and they defeated all the vampires and the evil. And that's how the series Buffy ended.
And there was a movie.
That was before Buffy.
Okay.
That was pre-series. So the series kind of picks up a little bit after the movie.
Okay.
And then it ended in Angel. She also had an ending in Angel because they were connected.
Of course, yes.
Where all the girls that she basically started up like this. She had an army of Slayer girls working for her now. Okay. So there were a bunch of Slayer random girls that would appear in the Angel series as well.
As I'm Buffy's friend. You know me.
And then they had a comic book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That is canon. That takes place after Buffy.
And after Angel.
Where she continues to be the Slayer and she has other Slayer girls working for her.
So
she basically started the Red Room.
Okay. So I can see how they were going to have somebody else now then.
Yeah. So
instead of having just Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah. The way the series ended, they unlocked the spell. So instead of girls being born with potential, girls are just born as Slayers.
Okay.
So you can only be the Slayer if you're a girl. Because it's a woman, it only goes to women. So that was how the monks did it. They they sacrificed a girl to do it. And she became all powerful. So it didn't really work that way.
Okay.
But she basically started up the Red Room. So they have anybody they can pick from. It doesn't have to be anybody from the original series.
It could be some new girl.
It could be some new girl because now they've set it up. The girls are born Slayers in the world.
Okay.
So any girl can be born with superpowers.
Everybody was very excited about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't just make it a whole series, but I guess they're probably trying to get a temperature check to make sure people still checking for Buffy. Because, I don't know if new generation is checking for, but you know what?
I think Buffy started a lot of stuff.
Well, I think Interview with the Vampire is doing really well.
It is.
So this would probably be prime time to do this.
And Buffy's always been campy.
Right.
It's been campy horror comedy.
So Vampires is back in style anyway.
Vampires is back in style. Reboots are back in style.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
She's made a couple appearances on some shows. She was in the Teen Wolf show. She's in the new Dexter show.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I think I knew that. Okay.
So she's had a couple appearances. Freddie Prinze Jr. is going to be back, and I Knew What You Did Last Summer. So everybody's coming back.
So this will probably be. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I would absolutely watch this. I think the ending of the original series is a great way to end it, where it's like it's not just one Slayer. It's any girl. And I love the montage that they did where they just showed girls around the world doing average everyday things and the power just being unlocked. Like some girls were playing baseball and the power just unlocked while they're playing baseball. One of the girls was in the middle of a domestic violence situation and her power's unlocked.
Right at the right time.
Right. So I really like the way they ended it and set up like all girls around the world, instead of being born with the potential, you just are born with the power.
Okay.
So, and now there's just an army. Anybody can be a Slayer. And I love the fact that they ended it like that. So, yeah.
So it sounds like it's in a good position to be picked up.
Yeah.
We don't have any timeline on when this is getting put on Hulu.
No, she released a really long statement I'm not going to read, but she basically said, they've been hounding me to reboot this forever, and I've always said no. But Chloe Zhao, I had a meeting with Chloe Zhao, and well, basically she said a friend that I knew wouldn't ask me to meet with somebody unless it was really serious. Asked me to meet with somebody.
And her statement kind of read like I wasn't gonna do it until it made sense.
Right.
Or somebody behind the scenes was gonna make it sound good.
It seems like her conversation with Chloe Zhao turned her all the way around, which makes sense because she's Chloe Zhao.
Right. So. And Eternals was great.
If Buffy turns out anything close to Eternals, that cinematography, like that level of, it's going to be such an upgrade from the original. Yeah. So
I'm not getting on that soapbox for Eternals.
I'm excited. If we're still podcasting when it comes out, whenever it comes out, like if it comes out in like 10 years or not.
Oh, is something happening?
How long is it going to take for this to get out of development?
I mean, Hulu got Disney money, so they should be able to fast track this.
I would absolutely watch this.
I'll check it out for sure.
All right. That is all of the movie news we have this week. Let's roll into the trailer park.
Toot. IBP.
First teaser?
It's a teaser. It was like 45 seconds.
Yeah. It's for...
anything under a minute is a teaser.
We just added this to fill out the numbers. So
yeah.
Megan 2.0 is the next installment in the Megan franchise now, because I don't believe they're stopping at 2.
Absolutely
no. This is not the end.
No.
It is a teaser for Megan, which came out a couple years ago. It's set 2 years. Yeah, COVID.
Yeah,
Megan was a COVID film.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
It's set 2 years after the first film, which I think is a good gap.
Yes, agree.
Because that means the girl will be older.
A little bit older, yes.
Yeah. Not niece. Well, yeah, niece.
Yes, she was her niece.
Yeah, so the niece that she adopted will be older. All the characters are set to return. I believe, what's her name? The main character, Williams. Allison Williams, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The main character is going to be executive producing now.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, so she got an EP credit this time.
Hey,
so that's good. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Bring back the same cast. Most of them lived, except unless they were like bad guys. So like all her coworkers lived. Or the scientists she worked with to build Megan lived.
Yeah, the boss didn't live though, right?
No, but the 2 lab techs that she worked with lived.
Okay.
And they're the ones who are important.
Right. They almost didn't know. They was definitely in danger.
So the synopsis is that Megan's AI tech has been stolen and used to create a military-grade weapon called Amelia. This was kind of hinted at the end of Megan because one of the guys leaked the data behind how they built her, and then to an unknown third party, and then he got killed. So we didn't know where that went.
No, we didn't.
Ivana Sakno, who is from Ahsoka, who we loved.
We did like her, yes.
We loved her character in Ahsoka. She's going to be playing Amelia, who is the new version of this robot who goes rogue.
Which I thought was interesting because Megan... Oh, okay, this makes sense. Because Megan looks like a robot. Like her facial features. So now it looks like this upgrade is going to look human. Because
they can do that, yeah.
Ivana
especially
look like a human.
Well, so
or they're gonna just use her facial features over a robot.
The Megan actress wears prosthetics.
Okay,
to make her look like a robot in the face.
Got you.
Yeah, so they use prosthetics to tone down the animation in her face a little bit.
Okay.
So they might do the same with Ivana Sakno, or they can do, because it is 2 years later. We've got movies like The Companion now where they just look like people.
I'm thinking that's probably she's just going to look like her, like a human.
And I guess we'll get into, I'll mention that later, but let's finish the details. So Megan is resurrected to save humanity with upgrades, making her faster, stronger, more lethal. So Terminator 2. Because the T-1000 was like much more upgraded than the T-900. So
it is Terminator 2. And at first I was kind of like, we done this. But I think this plot makes sense if they're going to keep making these movies. Sure. Why not?
Absolutely. Because it's Terminator 2.
It is.
And people love that twist. People still love that twist rewatching it, even though they know the twist is coming. When he opens up from the elevator and you think he's going to shoot John Connor in the mall. And he actually shoots the police officer. And nobody saw that coming.
I think this makes sense for this. And I'm absolutely going to go watch it.
Yeah. We talked about it. They made Megan likable. So... You can't. It's you want to keep her around.
She was a murderous robot.
They made the villain likable, so you want to keep the villain around, and the best way you can do that is to Terminator 2 him.
Up to the very end, it was kind of like, oh, she dead, but she was funny though. She was funny. She meant business, but she was funny.
Yeah. So this is exciting. I'm excited about the addition of a new extra evil robot. I'm
excited for Terminator 2.
I hope Ivana Sakno doesn't get typecast as just playing bad guys forever. It's only the second time we've seen her.
Listen, if you got a lane, just like Mads Mikkelsen, if you got a good lane, ain't nothing wrong with it.
And she's got the physicality. She was great as a I guess not a Jedi. She wasn't
Jedi.
Sith either.
Yeah, I don't.
Padawan. She was just a Padawan.
There you go.
Yes.
Who knew how to work a lightsaber real well.
She was in the gray area.
Yeah, exactly.
She was good. I liked her in that. So she can do action. So if there's going to be...
She can do action and angry.
Robot on robot karate chopping, I'm assuming.
It's going to be...
With dance numbers.
Sequences. Yes, because in the teaser, Meg, we see her silhouette dancing to a song as only she does.
I'm interested to see the dynamic between Megan and the girls when they bring her back. Is Megan gonna remember? Is she gonna have her memories? Like I remember the last time I was alive we beefed. Like I'm gonna be interested to see the dynamic between the two.
I think it's interesting they making her look the same. Like they don't seem like they doing any changes to how Megan looks. She still got that same ratty wig and the same clothes on. I'm like, can y'all give her a new outfit or something?
It works.
Well, it's recognizable, right?
Yeah.
Like, we recognize Megan. Like, the Terminator always looked like...
They put her in the same, like, two-piece blazer and skirt set.
Yeah, like she going to prep school. I'm like, ain't gonna give her no new outfit, y'all. And then she gonna bring her back. But okay, that's fine.
Next stop on the trailer park is for Final Destination Bloodlines. This is coming out May 16th. This is the 6th Final Destination movie.
Yeah.
Coming after the last one that came out maybe 10 years ago at this point. When did Final Destination 5 come out?
I don't know, but you know what? I will say this. If you have not seen Final Destination 5, you need to go watch it.
It's the best one.
I don't know if it's better than the first one. Better than the first one? The first one was like the one that introduced us to all of this.
Okay, the second best one, best twist.
Sure. Yes. I get it.
And we're not going to spoil it. You should go watch it.
Because you absolutely should. Because I was reading, some people were like, I fell off after the third one. I didn't even know there were 5 of these. Why are they making a 6? If you've seen the first one, you should go back and at least watch number 5.
So the last Final Destination came out in 2011.
Good God.
Yeah. So it's 2025, 14 years ago. Yeah.
I feel old. But anywho.
So Bloodlines is going to... What is Final Destination? Final Destination is about a group of random characters who have all...
Escaped death?
Sometimes they're connected, sometimes they're not.
Yeah, they definitely weren't in the first one.
One of the characters gets a unexplained premonition about the events that are about to take place that concludes in all their deaths. And that character saves everybody from the situation. But Death don't like that. Death does not. Death has a design.
I need to be on schedule.
And everybody has to die when they're supposed to die. Right. So typically the movies are about Death, this unseen, unshown entity going around causing freak accidents to correct the deaths of all the people who avoided death the first time. And the fun of the movie is usually figuring out the order in which it is doing so and how to stop it.
And if you are not familiar with Final Destination, there is, if you ever have a fear of being behind a truck that's got a bunch of trees or something on the back of it, and people are like, oh, I got to get from behind this, I might die. That is because of Final Destination.
Yeah, Final Destination started that.
Yeah, so it's a cult classic. Well, I would say maybe the first couple are cult classics. I don't know about 3, 4, and 5.
So the first 2,
I would say for sure,
are cult classics. 5 is probably a cult classic for the people who have seen it.
It should be for sure.
3 is okay.
I don't even remember 3.
3 was the roller coaster one.
Oh, okay.
With Ian McGregor's wife.
Okay.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. 3. Okay, so there's 2. There's 2 then. There's the log one and there's the tanning bed one.
Tanning bed, car wash. I didn't like the car wash either.
Car wash. They had 2 car wash.
One's a car wash where she gets sliced up. She gets stuck in the sunroof.
That was 3. Okay. So, and she actually lived. So she almost died. Okay.
Maybe that's why I remember.
She dies later in the film, but they save her from the car wash.
Of course.
And I guess the only good one in 4 was the escalator death. 4 was the NASCAR one.
Okay.
Yeah.
5. Yeah, we're not gonna spoil 5, but you should definitely see 5 because it's integral to, I think, the rest of the movie.
So this one is gonna be centered around a family. We haven't got official plot details, but there have been leaks. So essentially, what the leaked plot is that there is a person who has avoided death for a very, very long time, long enough to have started a multiple generational lines of family.
Okay.
And death is working down the list of family members because none of them should exist because the matriarch should not have lived.
Okay.
So death is working through just a family.
Backwards?
Yeah. Well, it seems like forwards because the teaser in the teaser, it shows one whole kill, essentially. One of the whole freak accident kills in the movie. And the teaser is a guy in a tattoo shop. He's giving a tattoo to a girl. The girl leaves. He's by himself. He opens up his phone and there's a picture of his dad, him and his dad.
Right. What we assume is his dad.
He turns on some sad music. And he starts to tattoo dad onto his arm. And then there's a chain of events that takes place. There's some...
things fall, things spill, things catch on.
Yeah, some flammable cleaner falls into the floor. Yeah. A chain from the ceiling hooks onto his nose ring, onto the ceiling fan. It pulls him up. throws him around the rooms.
Highly unbelievable.
Somehow with the weight of his septum piercing.
Got the strongest nose skin on earth.
And he lands in the flammable liquid and burns to death. And then we get the title card of Bloodlines. So I'm thinking that the dad is dead. So it might be working from the top of the family.
Okay, and we'll probably find out what happened to dad maybe later on in the film. Because I think the teaser trailer we got is the opening scene of the movie.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
I feel like that's the opening scene of the movie, and we may get backstory on the dad. How the dad died, or how the dad avoided death, if the dad knew.
Right. Now, all of the deaths in Final Destination are all outrageous. But for some reason, this one was more outrageous than I liked. I was like...
It was underwhelming for me. Well, it was both.
Because his nose ring catches on to this chain that catches on to the fan, and the fan spinning him around or lift him up. And it's like, your nose ring, the skin would break. And you would just fall. So I'm not believing this.
It wasn't believable. I'm still excited for the movie, though, because Final Destination is known for good kills. I'm just hoping that this is the weakest one, because the trailer was weak for me.
Yeah, it wasn't.
The kill itself was weak. I mean, we're so far in Final Destination. Somebody burning to death is so boring.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And we didn't even see him, like, really get crispy. He just, like, started like, okay, whatever.
Somebody swinging into some regular flames is boring.
He could survive this.
Yeah, this is just arson.
Not bad.
Right.
What's interesting is the monkey is coming out in a couple weeks, and the monkey has been compared. The kills in the monkey have been compared to Final Destination.
And the plot.
And I think the monkey kills look a little more creative.
And the plot. It's also about a family.
It is family.
It's death targeting a family.
Right.
Twin films.
We'll wait.
We'll wait before calling it twin films.
We'll wait, because I feel like I'm feeling more monkey than I am Final Destination right now, but we'll see.
Monkey looks more artistic and good and
it looks more art house
and dark. Yeah. And it's A24.
Right. And it's based off a Stephen King novel. So.
Final Destination is kind of a comedy. It's campy. Some of the deaths are fun. All the characters are shallow. They do a really good job at making you want them to die. Of
course.
Because they make them all terrible people most of the time.
Or annoying or whatever. But yeah, we're going to check it out.
Yeah.
We've seen all 5. There's no way we can't not see 6.
Do you have a favorite Final Destination kill? I think I have one per movie. I'll go first. So my first movie, I guess not favorite, but the ones that make you
favorite
cringe the
you
most.
Already said.
So the first movie, it was the best friend getting choked to death by the wire in the bathtub. I've always had a fear of slippery bathtubs because of that.
Oh god, that was
so bad. The awful ones are the ones that last forever, not the quick explosion ones or somebody gets hit by, like Terry getting hit by the bus wasn't like that memorable for me, but the ones that linger,
right?
Or the horror. I guess the first one will also be the teacher that got the computer glass stuck in her throat, and then the house caught on fire, and then she fell, and then a knife fell in her chest.
Yeah. There was one with a garbage disposal. Was
that was 2, where you thought he was going to get stuck in the garbage disposal.
Right.
But he actually got impaled by the fire escape ladder. Because he was an idiot.
Through the throat?
Through the eye.
Through the eye.
Because he threw the spaghetti out the window.
Yes, and
the
he
apartment
slipped.
caught on fire. Yeah, and he escaped the apartment fire, but slipped and died.
See, I don't have a favorite. I just have ones that I remember more than others. Definitely the scene with the. I already mentioned the car wash. I already mentioned the logs on the back of the truck.
The third one was the tanning bed one.
Okay, I don't do tanning beds. So that one was like,
you're right, melanin. We've never had the desire
naturally tan,
to stick our bodies in a cooker.
Nope.
But the tanning bed one was awful. It was brutal.
Bad. It was pretty bad.
4 didn't have any memorable ones.
I'll say
4 was the one where the guy got his insides sucked out through the pool.
Gross.
Yeah, that was gross.
Gross.
Through the pool valve.
And the most I remember about 5 is the end, more than I remember the kills.
The most I remember about 5 is the end. I'm trying to think about if any of the kills were extraordinary in 5.
They was just the way they able to tie everything together in 5 was like,
5 had better characters.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, better characters in the ending. No special kills for me in particular.
Right. So we'll see how this one stacks up to the rest of them. It's been a very long time since we had one. Like Jay said, we in reboot season, so it'll be its time to shine. We'll see how it does.
Next ones are some really, really fun ones.
Yeah.
So, Fantastic Four First Steps. We finally got a trailer for it. This is going to come out July 25th. We already knew because we were already anticipating it. Because we'll be seeing it at Comic-Con just like we saw Deadpool.
Fantastic Four.
I'm excited.
That's Michael Giacchino's score.
Yeah.
At the end, it was like a choir singing. I was like, "Oh, this is good.
It's so good.
It's retro futuristic, I guess is what we call it.
Yeah, so they said it's like 60s retro futuristic.
It looks like it.
Alternate universe.
We get to see the Baxter building. Mm-hmm. We get to see all 4 of our characters. We see all 4 of our characters using their powers, but Reed Richards. Mm-hmm. We don't see him doing any stretching, but we see the Thing being the Thing. We see Johnny flaming on, and we see Sue disappearing.
I think they're hiding it because it looks goofy. It's supposed to look goofy.
I think they're hiding it because they're not done with the movie yet.
Yeah, if it looks goofy. They had Jim Krasinski's stretching. It didn't look super goofy.
No, I mean it's a human stretching.
Yeah.
It's not gonna look realistic.
Yeah, it's supposed to look goofy. I think they should just show us.
We got to see the Fantastic Car. We got to see Herbie. Who else did we get to see?
On the ground, not flying though.
Oh, you're right.
Because usually the Fantastic Car does both, so I wonder if it's going to transform and fly too.
Okay, yep. So we just saw it driving in the streets. We saw a little bit of action, but we don't see who they fighting. No. We got to see John Malkovich, but the reveal of his character was not shared. He just like, people kept calling him Gandalf.
He did look like Gandalf.
He looked Gandalf with a shorter haircut though. He ain't had a long locks.
Yeah.
Shoulder length hair.
He's in some type of cave or dark room or something.
Looks like he's coming out of a cave.
Yeah.
We also saw Galactus.
Yes, we got the back of his head.
Little peek.
No face reveal yet.
No, and no voice, which is what I really, really wanted.
Yeah, but he's big.
He's big. And I didn't know that he changed his size.
Yeah, but Galactus is bigger than the planet. If he wants to come down to the planet, he shrinks himself to be able to walk on it. Okay. So yeah, he's a planet eater.
That's funny. He's kind of like, oh, let me come down to
y'all
level. Just a little bit. We did not get Jennifer Gardner as Silver Surfer.
Boo.
We did not get Paul
Walter Hauser.
We didn't get him as whoever he is because we don't know.
He's Mole Man.
We're assuming that is the rumor, but we didn't get that. But overall, it was short, sweet, and to the point. They didn't give much plot at all, and they are clearly focusing on the family aspect of them being the first family.
We got Herbie.
Yeah, I mentioned that. We did get Herbie. Mm-hmm. She didn't talk though.
No, we didn't get talking Herbie, so we still don't know who Natasha Lyonne is playing, but she's also in this. But there are rumors that she could be Herbie.
Correct. Yep. But I thought. No notes. I didn't have anything to improve outside of would have liked to hear Ralph Ineson talk.
It doesn't give away any story.
None.
It basically just shows they are a family who has experienced a science snafu in space. It looks like they're going the solar flare route.
Okay.
So they get the solar flare powers. Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're going to be time jumping. So it's not just going to be just their origins. They're already acclimated. They're already famous. They're doing TV ads and infomercials.
I appreciate we're not having an origin story.
Yeah. So they're known. They're known heroes. Mm-hmm. They have the Baxter building. They're pretty much established already, kind of like as the Avengers would have been established already in their universe.
And the people love them. Like we get shots of people like celebrating the fact that, we love the Fantastic Four or whatever. So that'll be interesting because the theory is that the universe that they are in is gonna get poofed.
Yes,
we got to get the Fantastic Four in the main timeline, and something catastrophic got to happen for that.
That's what happened in Secret Wars. That's how they got all the characters together by poofing their individual. I mean, Miles Morales by poofing their individual worlds and sticking them together. Mm-hmm. We are not sure if there is going to be any multiverse hopping in this. Some people have broken down the chalkboard Reed was drawing on and said that he's developing a multiverse bridge. So maybe he's already on the cusp of doing that. That's very Mr. Fantastic.
I think that there's a scene in the trailer where Reed is like, we get together every day at 4:00 as a family, 7 p.m. sharp, no exceptions. And I'm like, sir, that don't even sound right. That sounds like a lie. I think that they are putting on the facade for the media. And I was like, ooh, we getting a little family drama.
Some background between the Fantastic Four family. Reed and Sue are always at odds because Reed is always working and Sue is always having to be the caretaker for the entire team.
Mm-hmm. She's giving caretaker.
Reed is very negligent as far as he's all about the science, but he has zero emotional intelligence unless Sue is like literally screaming at him, telling him he needs to get it together. So it makes total sense. I also believe that because if you watch that scene, Sue's body language is very weird.
It's stiff.
Her walk is super stiff.
I actually don't want to be here right now.
Her body language is super off in that scene. So I'm like, that could make sense.
Be right after the cameras go away because they're doing some sort of like maybe in-person interview for the media. Mm-hmm. And, Reed's walking around showing them the house and Sue's like, I'm here because I don't get fired.
Yeah.
So
Rita's always trying to solve problems even before problems arise, and Sue's always trying to get him to live in the moment and enjoy life.
Yeah. So I like we might get a little tension.
Yeah, I like
between
that.
the family. That looks good. Johnny's flame on. I thought it looked really good.
It looks the same, kind of. I don't really think they need to change that. I feel like they've gotten flame CGI down.
Yes, and I feel like they've stuck the landing in terms of, because there's a scene where he jumps off as he's not flamed, and then he flames on, and I was like, oh, this transition looks pretty good.
Yeah, the Human Torch CGI has been consistent, pretty much. I like Ben Grimm's The Thing's design. There have been some complaints about it. I think he looks great. He's comic accurate. He looks good. He looks different.
Yeah,
I like that he has the eyebrow. The what do you call those things?
Rocks.
The awning over his eyebrows.
Lids?
He's got the unibrow awning.
Yeah.
The other things don't have eyebrows in the live action.
Correct.
They're just flat face rock people. They look like Ninja Turtles. Him having like rock like eyebrows adds extra expression to his face.
It does. Even in the scene where he's talking to Herbie and his eyes are like doing this because he's like thinking about the sauce that he's tasting, but you can still see it even though his face is more defined, I guess.
Yeah, the eyebrow brim gives him emotion.
It does.
I like that.
Because you use eyebrows, I kind of think a little bit.
And I like that they have him in a suit. They always make the Thing, they always just give the Thing pants and don't give him a top.
He has a whole outfit.
He has a whole outfit. I like the fact that he's fully dressed too.
Yes.
Because why would he want to be naked? He's still like naked.
Well, and he used to be human, right?
Yeah.
So he used to wear clothes, like whole outfits.
The rocks aren't his clothing because he's naked now.
Right,
so
exactly.
I like the fact that they're like, give him a full suit.
Yeah, so this looks good. And we mentioned this already when we first talked about this movie. This is coming from Max Shakeman as far as the director. He directed WandaVision, and he also directed a couple episodes, first 2 episodes of Legacy of Monarchs. So, full faith. And then we have writers I will call them stock writers from Marvel, so people who've worked on Ragnarok. That's the only one I can think of right now, but all the good stuff. All the good Marvel movies, we have writers from all of that, so I'm excited. I'm excited,
super excited.
This is like my second most anticipated movie for July.
I kind of want a sweater or a long sleeve shirt, like their uniforms, like with the white shoulders
it's gonna be July though.
The blue sleeves and stuff. I don't care.
Okay, wear it for the winter. Winter always comes. We in Ohio.
Next stop and last in the trailer park is another super big, exciting one that we've been anticipating all year.
This is my most anticipated for July. Maybe all year actually.
All year.
All year for me.
I think it's stuck between maybe this and Brave New World.
Oh, they close.
I can't think of anything else that's coming out later this year.
Thunderbolts.
Off the top of my head. Thunderbolts is close. Okay, so Thunderbolts is a close second.
Okay, fair enough.
So this is Jurassic World Rebirth. Yes. This is another dive into the Jurassic World universe.
This is our 7th movie. Yes.
Yeah. World was, I think, the 3rd chunk.
Right. Correct.
Well, wait, no.
Yeah.
World was the 2nd chunk.
Yes.
This
trilogy.
is the 3rd chunk. So this is going to be another foray into a different island. This is not Isla Sorna or Isla Nublar. We don't have a name for this Isla yet.
I'm sure it's in a book somewhere.
This is an uncharted Isla. And it is supposed to be the secret testing ground that InGen used when they first bred dinosaurs to figure out how to get the recipes correct.
Yes.
Before they moved them to the breeding ground. But so they have
well, remember they weren't breeding because they was also female. This is before they moved them into the park.
So I'm confused about the purpose of the islands now.
You think it too hard, probably.
So there's the testing ground, which is this Isla.
Correct.
Isla, we don't know.
Well, they don't know yet.
Isla Sorna is Lost World. That's the one where they just habitate.
That's where I think that's where they let them live once they figured out that they were breeding.
And Nublar is the park. Okay.
Sure.
So they have the secret testing ground. Then they moved them to
There's technically a 3rd or 4th one because there was the island from Jurassic World, right? That was the park. I
think that was back to Nublar.
Okay, never mind.
And then so Nublar is officially gone. I think Nublar was the one that had the volcano explode on it.
Okay, sure. From Jurassic World 2.
Yeah, so the place they build World, I think, is on top of where they build Park. And now both of those places are gone.
Gotcha.
So I think we're down to 2. Sure. Are we only down to 2 now?
I don't know.
Okay, well, anyway.
The islands are still there geographically.
What is this movie about? This movie is about Scarlett Johansson, who plays Zora.
Owen.
who's the Owen of this movie.
She's the Owen.
Who is picking up Dr. Grant, who is being played by Jonathan Bailey. And
or Laura Dern.
Or Laura Dern. I think he's closer to Laura Dern because Dr. Grant seemed like more like Laura Dern.
Gave me more like Crocodile Hunter.
Yeah.
Than Laura Dern did. Yeah. Jonathan Bailey gave me more Laura Dern.
Laura Dern gave me more just like the scientist. Alan Grant gave me more Indiana Jones.
Boom.
And he's not giving Indiana Jones this. He seems like he doesn't want to be there.
Laura Dern for sure.
So Scarlett Johansson goes to pick up Jonathan Bailey because he is a paleontologist. They always need one.
Right.
The plan is to go to this uncharted island to get DNA from 3 of the largest dinosaurs in existence that were left on this secret island by InGen, because that DNA is supposed to have life-saving genetic materials and powers that they can use to cure diseases and cancer and stuff like that. So they're going to go stick some syringes in some dinosaurs and bring back some
we
DNA.
have a financier behind all of this.
So we have a Hammond.
Guy with the money.
Yes.
There we go. We have Hammond.
So we don't know if he's good or bad, but typically financiers in Jurassic movies are bad.
This one's giving bad.
Yeah.
He's too fancy.
Jurassic Park is about the rich. Yeah. So, yeah.
Literally.
Unless you're Hammond. Hammond got to die peacefully.
Right. He had good intentions. That's why.
He did.
Died peacefully.
Also in this is going to be Mahershala Ali, who seems to be a confidant of...
I was trying to think of what other character he is. He's kind of like the dinosaur wrangler from the first one.
Yes.
Who got eaten by the
Shooter.
raptors. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either.
I need to look it up.
He's definitely Shooter in this.
Bob Peck is his name. Yeah. Okay. He died in 1999. Okay. But he was Robert Muldoon.
That was his character's name?
Yeah.
I wonder if they even said his name.
I don't even think they ever said his name in that movie.
He was a muscle.
Yeah.
Essentially. Mahershala Ali seems like the muscle in this.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali could be the muscle in this.
Yeah.
Or like Owen's sidekick, because if Scarlett Johansson is Owen had the sidekick, the actor from Lupin, Omar Sy.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
So he could be like another Omar Sy in this. I hope he doesn't die.
I hope he does. I hope
Omar Sy lived.
I hope ScarJo, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali all live.
Yeah, because I want them to continue into the sequel. Because I feel like
Jay thinks this about to be a trilogy.
It should be.
They ain't say it, but why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Jay didn't mention that the significance of them being on this test island is that all the dinosaurs is
freaky
experiments. Yeah. The ones that didn't. They said they were too scary to put in the original park.
So when B.D. Wong in the original Jurassic Park was talking about all the different traits that they put into the dinosaurs to make them look cooler, this looks like they were still trying to figure out the perfect balance when they were doing that.
They messed it up quite a bit.
So we got some, I think they're called Dilophosauruses with those are the long neck ones.
They have long necks, but they have tails like raptors.
Yeah, they have really long tails, really thin. Mm-hmm. They also have like these fins on their back that go all the way up the tail and their back and their neck.
What did I say? It was like a stegosaurus?
Yeah, they have like Spinosaurus. They have like a Spinosaurus spine on their back.
They don't look normal.
It's weird. We got an image of a 2-headed velociraptor in a tank.
Like an alien?
Like an alien. And then we got an image of raptor feet. It looks like our characters, because they always have to have an encounter with raptors. We got a raptor feet.
But no raptor body.
No raptor body.
So there's a scene in the trailer where they obviously trying to hide, and they're like, oh, snap, it's raptor feet. But they disclose in what the raptor look like. So we're thinking of raptor, because all of the dinosaurs we do see in this don't look like their previous iterations in other movies.
And in every Jurassic Park movie, they change the dinosaurs' look a little.
A little bit.
They make them look different, a little better.
Like the T-Rex we see in this, it's
got like tiger stripes.
The skin looks like it's a tiger or a frog.
It's more scaly.
It's spotted.
Yeah.
It's a spotted T-Rex. It's got a pattern on them, which ain't
because
normal.
They said that the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, they already acknowledged in the films that the dinosaurs that are in Jurassic Park do not look like realistic dinosaurs in the real world. They said the realistic dinosaurs that were in the real world looked boring, so they had to genetically alter them to make them look cooler, make them bigger, give them more teeth.
Yes, correct.
So the T-Rex does look a little more amphibian. B.D. Wong did say that they used like fugu fish and tree frogs and a whole bunch of other stuff when they did that.
And especially in the first Jurassic Park, they were trying to make sure they all were female so they couldn't breed.
And that's no longer a thing.
No.
Yeah.
Life found a way in the first one.
Snakes that they use. So
too many experiments.
I'm hoping one thing that they always change is the look of the velociraptors in every single one. I'm hoping we get a two-headed velociraptor running around. Child. I would love that.
I don't know if they're going to take it there because they want kids to see this.
They might take it there because we also get one last twist in this one.
That looks gross.
And they have unleashed some type of Rancor Cloverfield looking T-Rex monster.
Gareth Edwards said the thought process behind it was a xenomorph.
Yeah, it was three things. It was like T-Rex, Rancor, and xenomorphs.
Now, try to imagine all that in a dinosaur that's like the size of a building. It's got 4 arms.
Yeah.
The front legs look like they ain't legging right.
So it's got 2 really long front legs, kind of like an ape. Like where it has the long front arms. Right, it's like got 2 arms actually instead of legs. So it's got like 2 front arms that it walks on.
It looks like a gorilla walking a little bit.
Yeah, and then it has, because the Rancor doesn't walk on all 4s, it walks on 2s.
Right.
So
but it's got Rancor arms.
Yeah,
little bitty arms.
It's got like little bitty T-Rex arms.
Okay,
too.
T-Rex arms.
So it's got 4 arms, and then it's got 2 big like legs.
Arms.
It's got like a Rancor face.
It looks like a Rancor in the body, but it looks like it's also like huge. Yeah, like T-Rex huge.
It's bigger than a T-Rex.
Yeah, it probably looks
much bigger than a T-Rex.
There's a scene in the trailer where it's trapped inside of a containment room with a man, so you can see the scale between a man and whatever this thing is called.
It's probably a flashback when they abandoned the island.
Oh, right, because why else would it be contained in a room?
Or maybe that's the third act when they get, because Jurassic Park is good for a third act on the mainland.
Trying to catch it.
They love to do a third act on the mainland. Lord. So maybe they caught it and brought it back to the mainland, and it'll be like Jurassic Park 2 where it's chasing them around the city.
But they already got dinosaurs on Jurassic. Oh no, all the dinosaurs now are contained within like an equator situation. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So, it looks spooky, it looks scary, and I'm very excited.
It looks freaky.
They said they were trying to bring back the horror factor of dinosaurs, and they want people to be scared. So tie me up twice. Yeah,
a lot of people were upset because they're like, it's not a dinosaur. They don't like the fact that it's going too sci-fi. They want it to be traditional.
What else are we supposed to do?
We've seen them run away from T-Rexes so many times.
Go watch the other 6 movies.
Yeah, and I mean, prove it. Prove this dinosaur didn't exist, because
you ain't got no fossil yet.
Exactly. 1, we don't have no fossil yet. 2, I watch dinosaur documentaries all the time, and I believe whatever they tell me. Because how many times have you watched a dinosaur documentary? You're like, let me Google this to make sure.
Or they find a new dinosaur,
right,
that looks weirder than the last dinosaur.
Let me Google this to make sure the man on National Geographic or Discovery is telling the truth or not. I just take it at face value because it's a dinosaur.
Y'all done the research.
And exactly? How am I going to prove that it's not?
This is my most anticipated movie probably of the year, but definitely for July. Mm-hmm. I was seeing it in Dolby, the biggest screen, the loudest speakers, because I'm adding this to the book collection. It ain't even out yet. I'm already buying physical.
This movie's gonna make $5 billion. Hopefully. It's coming out the 2nd of July.
And I'm gonna be responsible,
which means
for $4 billion.
It's gonna play through the 4th of July.
Right.
It's going to be amazing.
Now, the interesting thing is, so July has this coming first, Jurassic World. Superman comes 2 weeks later. No, Superman comes 1 week later. Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks after that, we will get Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It's a packed July. And then in the middle of Superman Fantastic Four, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer and Smurfs, I think.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, this is going to do it. The only people who won't be seeing this on the 4th of July will be the people who are seeing Beyonce in D.C. on the 4th of July.
Right. If they're not going on the 4th, they're going on that Monday.
Right. So everybody's going to see this movie. I'm super excited.
I can't wait.
All right, so that's all for the trailer park. Let's dive into this Buncha-Crunch.
So all of our Buncha-Crunch is actually all casting news. Surprise, surprise. Yay. We have another person joining Scream 7. This probably the killer for real this time, not Mark and Salos.
Yeah, one of the killers is always a relatively new person.
Ethan Embry, who is from. Did you recognize his face? Did you see a picture of what he looked like?
I've only seen Empire Records once.
Okay. So he's from Empire Records. Can't hardly wait. But what I most know him.
Wait. Sorry, Empire Records, not Cadillac Records. I've seen Empire Records several times.
Wrong records.
No, I don't remember his face because he's much older than he was in Empire Records. So
I remember him as Dusty or Rusty, one of the two, in Vegas Vacation. Have you seen?
What is that?
With the Oswalds? No. The families, the Oswald family.
Like Marie Oswald?
No. With Chevy Chase?
No.
And you didn't watch it.
Was it like a National Lampoon movie?
Yes.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Okay, so Vegas Vacation is practically the only one I've ever seen, but he plays the son in Vegas Vacation.
So this is like National Lampoon Vegas Vacation? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I ain't seen him in nothing since
I thought it was the same kids.
It is.
Is he not in the rest of them?
Probably, but I've only seen Vegas Vacation.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Okay, got
that's why
Never
that's the only
mind.
one on the list.
Never mind.
So he is joining the cast of Screen 7. I absolutely think he's a killer.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He got a killer face.
Yeah.
Literally.
He's an unknown.
Yeah.
Nobody thought Mikey Madison would be the killer.
Exactly.
She was a relatively unknown at the time.
Unassuming, right? Yeah.
Very unassuming.
And like I said, I do think they got too many people in this movie. 99% of these people gonna die, but I do think this man is actually one of the killers.
Mason Gooding just did an interview and saying that it's gonna be like super gory, or the kills are gonna be super like eclectic.
I mean,
he was saying that there are gonna be things done to the human body that shouldn't be done. I was like, I mean, you just might be selling it.
You might be, because it's still supposed to be like a slasher.
Yeah, I mean, the grossest thing I've seen in a Scream is when that girl got gutted. Anytime somebody gets gutted.
Right.
Is gross. So that's it. You can draw the line there. I don't want them
to get too creative.
Yeah, I don't need no Saul.
Right.
Yeah.
Scream not supposed to be about the gore necessarily.
Stick to the stabbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I mean, I don't know if I'm excited for this movie or not. I'm just waiting to see what it is.
Trailer. We need to see a trailer.
Yeah.
And then
there's a lot of people. There's dead people.
Yeah. Ghosts.
So there's ghosts.
Twins, potentially.
Ghostface.
We don't know.
Twins, right.
I don't. So we'll see. We don't know his role. I don't think they said what his role is. Killer is what I'm calling him.
Killer. And
we'll just go with that. Next up we have, I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm sorry. Marut. How do you say this? Do it.
Rarid?
Malika.
Rarid Malika.
Boom. Has joined the cast of Marvel's Vision series. So Vision, it used to be called Vision Quest. Now I think it's just called Vision series. I don't think they've given it a new name.
I like Vision Quest.
This is supposed to be our third part of our WandaVision, Agatha Vision trilogy. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be playing a character called Tucker.
Tommy.
He's playing Tommy, y'all. I don't care what y'all call.
It's Tommy.
Just don't start it with a T. If y'all was trying to hide it, it's Tommy.
It's Tommy. Vision don't know any of the kids.
I don't.
It's Tommy.
He is from.
He was Tucker before Billy killed him.
There it is. There it is.
Before Billy murdered him and let him drown in the pool.
Right.
He was Tommy.
I think he saved him, though, didn't
he? If you had the ability to reach out and stick a body in him, you also had the ability to reach out and stop him from being drowned.
You're right.
So
we talked about this at the end of Agatha.
Yeah.
He used to be Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be Tucker. Tucker, now Tommy, is going to be in the Vision series. Now, of course, Marvel ain't said yes or no, but we all speculating that this boy is going to be Tommy.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, right. Then what?
Why waste the young casting?
Let's get... Because who else? Who do we care about?
Yeah.
Nobody. So we have no other plot details about this movie.
Congratulations.
This show.
Congratulations, Mr. Malika. You are in the MCU as Tommy.
Congratulations. Yeah. He's previously from the franchise, which we didn't see.
Which was canceled. So.
Right. So.
Which is funny, which is a show making a parody of franchises.
So he had experiences.
Yes.
Next up, we have Corey Stoll, who is going to join the cast of Matchbox. The movie that I keep wondering, what is the plot? Because it must be good. I like Corey. Mm-hmm. Corey is from Ant-Man. He was the villain. And he's also from House of Cards. Oh, my God.
He's MODOK.
Oh.
I totally forgot about that.
Oh, you know what's funny? I was thinking of Ant-Man 1.
I completely forget about him in Ant-Man 1 because his MODOK appearance was so outlandish.
It's funny because I forgot about him in Ant-Man 3.
So that makes sense.
Whoops. So yes, Ant-Man Quantumania. Mm-hmm. And then he was also Peter Russo in House of Cards.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he is joining the cast of Matchbox with Tiana Paris.
Which we still don't know what it's about. Is
John
it about
Cena.
Live action cars? Are they toy cars? Are these people being shrunk down into driving toy cars?
Script must be scripted. That's all.
Are they playing toy cars that talk?
I don't. The longer this cast list gets, the more I'm like.
Give us a poster or something.
This looks like this must be good.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, good is. It's led by John Cena. It'll be fun.
Sure. maybe the supporting cast will elevate.
I like the supporting cast.
I do. Nothing against John Cena.
Supporting cast is fleshing out into
not
something
a
I
huge
really like.
John Cena acting fan. He seems like a really nice guy, though.
Yeah, he does.
So, sure. I'm going for Tiana and Denai. So.
Shout out to everybody involved.
Go and get a trailer.
All right, so that is all the movie news, trailers, and Buncha-Crunch. We're going to take a short break and get into our movie review of the week, which is Hard Eyes.
Yeah. This week, we watched Hard Eyes, which is spooky. It was released February 7th, 2025. It is directed by Josh Ruin, whose previous 2 films I was not familiar with. So this is not his first film, but it's like his 3rd film. And I'm not familiar with the work. So, yay, Josh. The cast and characters on Hard Eyes include Olivia Holt, who plays Allie. Mason Gooden plays Jay Simmons. Gigi Zabadu plays Monica, who is Allie's friend. Michaela Watkins plays Crystal, who is Allie and Jay's boss in this. Devin Sawa, who is from Final Destination.
Yes.
He don't look the same.
I don't think you've seen him since Final Destination, but he's been in horror, so that's probably why you haven't seen him.
He's
since
much
Destination.
He's much older. But to me, if you wouldn't have said it, I would have never known.
Yeah.
And then we also have Jordana Brewster, who looks like Jordana Brewster still, and she plays Detective Jeanette Shaw. So we have a Hobbs and Shaw in this. If you didn't catch on.
Yeah, we're like Cheryl said, we're not familiar with the director, but we do know the producer. I know the producer,
writer,
co-writer.
Yes,
Christopher Landon.
He
was originally attached to do Scream 7, but that fell through because the Miramax flopped, or whoever owns that right now flopped.
I think it's Miramax
or Spyglass.
Spyglass. There it is.
Floppers. But he did make Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day 2, Freaky, which I really like. I think might be getting a sequel, maybe.
Okay.
And We Have a Ghost, which just recently came out.
He's also apparently the writer on Paranormal Activity 2, 3, and 4. And
I didn't know he was involved in so many of the Paranormal Activities.
Marked ones.
But he's been around for a very, very, very long time.
He's the horror guy.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, he's good at good campy horror slashers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's also going to be directing. He's the director of Drop.
Oh, is he? Dang, Drop might be good.
I'm not watching it. I'm not doing it. Whoever cut that trailer needs to do better because I'm not sold.
Oh, wow. He was also a writer on Dirty Sexy Money. That's a show from 2007 that our mom used to like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. With Dirty Sexy Money was about, I think it was about Donald Sutherland and his family. He ran like a business.
Yep, Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, and it was about him being a matriarch who was like super rich and like his money grubbing children.
Yeah. They basically tried to paint them as like the Kennedys.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha. So, so Christopher Landon is behind the writing and the producer on this. It makes sense for this movie, and you'll hear in our review. Runtime of 1 hour and 38 minutes. Not too shabby. Pretty good for horror. Budget of $18 million, which is not too bad. I mean, not $2, but not $100 million. Opening box office, it made $3.7 at opening day, and it is projected to do for this weekend $8.5 million. So,
I'm wondering if it's gonna make its money back.
Not stellar, unfortunately.
It could though, because it's still not Valentine's Day yet.
But Marvel about to take all them screens.
It's about to take all the screens, but this is still alternative
programming.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
But then the monkey come out the weekend after.
For girlfriends or guys who don't want to go see superhero movies.
Yeah.
Can go see Hard Eyes.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
There are people.
Everybody doesn't watch superhero movies, right?
Horror has had the ability to do well in any circumstances as long as they keep the budget low. So there's a chance.
It's doing similar to, I think, Companion, which people also thought would do better. But I don't think Companion got marketed very well.
It didn't. But
I feel like I've seen more marketing for this than Companion.
I think this has, we'll get to it. I think the audience reception will help this film.
Okay. Yep. So speaking of ratings, this got a B-, which is pretty good for horror.
Yeah,
that is good. The same as Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Which, I mean... Yeah, you can C's not so. C- is not so great.
Beat out Sonic.
B-, what beat out Sonic?
Nosferatu was beating out Sonic during the weekly charts.
There was a period for weekends, in some places where
So alternative broadcast and programming,
everybody
it works.
Everybody don't watch Sonic either.
Yeah.
Everybody watch Bust out. Anyway, not gonna get on that. Not gonna get on that. But B-, which is great for horror. Rotten Tomatoes score, critics gave it an 82 and audience gave it a 78, which I feel is in line.
Yeah.
I feel it's pretty in line. So do you want to give us the plot of Heart Eyes?
Sure. Heart Eyes is about Olivia Holt, who plays Allie, who is a marketing director. It seems like they didn't really give us a title, but she's basically leading.
She works in marketing.
She works in marketing, and she's doing the campaign for the latest perfume.
Yes.
It's perfume.
Don't matter, but yes.
She's doing the latest marketing campaign for, I believe it's perfume. But the ad, they only show us the ad once, and it was so terrible. But basically, she's good at her job. She does not believe in love until she encounters Mason Gooding, who works in the same industry as she does. Right. And it seems like sparks are starting to fly between the two. But unfortunately, that's put to a halt when they are being chased by a serial killer who is obsessed with killing couples.
Yes. Oh, it's jewelry.
It's jewelry. Okay. So
it's very.
Oh, you're right, because I made a comment that they're making fun of Tiffany's.
Yes.
The ad is making fun of Tiffany's.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Now, y'all, this is totally irrelevant to the plot of the story. No, so it don't matter.
Because it literally only comes up once. But
if I didn't look it up, we would have went with jewelry.
I forgot that thank you for adding that. I forgot that they're making fun of Tiffany's. They're clearly making fun of Tiffany's because Tiffany's is like the Valentine's Day jewelry campaign people. And the ad was like
trash.
So it was terrible.
The character's ad was I was like, terrible. How do you have a job?
It was so bad. Awful. It was, how did this get filmed?
Right, like I'm not gonna. I guess we can maybe talk about it in the spoiler section, so I won't say it now. But Allie, I don't know if she's good at her job.
No, I don't think she wants to do her job.
Right. Well, since you do that, let's get into our non-spoiler thoughts for Heart Eyes.
Okay.
So this is very much a slasher. If you like slashers, you'll like this. I will say, as the resident not into horror movies, it's not that scary. I thought The Mask was going to be scarier. It's more goofy.
He looks like a Ninja Turtle in proper lighting.
Yeah.
He does look like Donatello.
He's giving Ninja Turtle skin. Like his head is more round and it's not like oval shaped, but because his mask has a smile on it, and it's supposed to be creepy, but it's actually kind of like goofy looking.
He kind of looks like remember Master of Disguise, where he had to disguise himself as a turtle man? That's what he looked like.
It's just, the mask, even when he turns on the glowy red eyes, which he only does, I think, once. It's not scary, y'all. So you'll be fine. Yeah. If you wanted to see this and you thought it was too scary, now it is gory.
It is gory.
So if you don't like gore,
the gore is there.
This ain't for you. I mean, we even get vomit. So
yeah, they don't skimp on the
bodily fluids.
Yeah.
It's a lot about, and it's also it's got some raunchy parts.
It does, yes.
So this is very rated R. But I would say if you are interested in this, but you're worried about the scare factor, you'll be fine. Yeah. It's not super scary. It was pretty funny. It was funnier than I thought it was going to be. The runtime and the editing was perfect. It was whipping and the snapping. There are some plot decisions that are kind of like, this is goofy, but it's supposed to be. Would you call this campy? It's not really campy though, right? It's just got some horror elements from other slashers.
I wouldn't call it campy, but it's just comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got elements of other slashers in it. Which
the drive-in scene would be campy. Because that wouldn't happen.
I guess.
Nobody would allow that to happen.
Okay. Fine. Let's get to that.
The fact that everybody was just running around helpless was ridiculous.
Yeah. So the movie definitely had some funny parts. Yeah. And they were intentionally funny. So it wasn't like we were laughing at it and we weren't supposed to laugh. It wasn't like, Megalopolis or something like that. We're like, this is hilarious and it's not supposed to be.
We're laughing with the movie.
We were laughing with the movie. I think all of the acting was pretty good. There is Monica, who plays Allie's friend, was probably one of my favorites. Yeah. And she ain't even did this a whole bunch. Nope. But she was also good with the sense of humor and the funny element. So she's got the funny best friend. She stuck that landing pretty darn well. She almost kind of reminded me of Madison a little bit.
Great use of a side character.
Yes. Yeah. She wasn't drunk like Madison was.
No.
She definitely had the perfect timing.
She was as fun.
She was as fun as Madison. Yeah. Mason Gooding does really good. He was more of a, I guess he is the lead, but we didn't get to see him as the lead in Scream. So he was able to fit into that lead character role. And I haven't seen him in anything else besides this and Scream. So I don't have anything else to reference. But in Scream, he's more of a second lead.
He's a side character. He's one of the core four, but he's definitely not. He's definitely behind Jenna Ortega.
Right. He's not top villain. In this, he fits really good into being like the lead role. So he did good. And I just thought it was the fact that it was funnier than I thought it was gonna be. I think was a nice surprise. Yeah, I'll give it that.
Yeah, this was a fun movie. I didn't expect it to be as fun. I expected it to be campy and ridiculous. It wasn't as campy as I thought it was gonna be, but that was fine because it made up with just regular comedy.
Yeah.
But I had low expectations because I'm like, this is a Valentine's themed slasher flick. Like,
yeah,
I think of like My Bloody Valentine, which was super old, was they took that one more serious.
Oh, okay.
For a Valentine-based slasher.
It is not serious.
This is not serious at all. I mean, the murders are serious.
One of my notes is like, this is very unserious.
The kills are brutal and the murders are very serious, but the characters and the situation they are in themselves is not taken very seriously. No. I thought that it had a lot more comedy than I expected it to. It's definitely
a horror comedy.
So I guess Scream is going to come up several times during this review, so I'm not even going to fight it. It's a slasher. Where I thought that Scream has the perfect balance of horror and comedy. This one is more of a 50-50 balance of horror and comedy. Yeah. Like, comedy is definitely elevated higher in this than it is in, like, the other Scream movies. Some of the scenes
the characters are in, it's not even a focal point of the plot or anything, and it's just like, why is this happening? Why is this in the background? What is she doing? Yes, I agree with that.
They definitely just went 50-50 between horror and comedy. You can't get too scared because it's funny, and that's what makes it fun. It is a roller coaster. You are right. The pacing is pretty nonstop. They don't really they have some slow periods in the beginning when the characters are getting to know each other, but once the killer reveal happens and the chase is officially on, it pretty much doesn't stop.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. We get to like a police station situation. I think from then on, it's just violence.
We were talking about in our last episode about movies. We like movies that are paced to take place in one night. This is another one. This takes place in the course of one night.
It does.
Yeah. Which I don't realize until after the movie. And it was like, wow, a lot of stuff happened in one day.
Yeah, we had like a time jump at one point, but the bulk of the movie is one night. Yes.
I thought the acting was really good. Olivia Holt did a really good job as a lead.
Agree. Yes.
Yeah. For me not having seen her in anything else other than her being a side character in Totally Killer.
She was good in Totally Killer, though.
She was good in Totally Killer. I liked her in Totally Killer, even though she was mean and awful.
She was a good awful.
But she was good in this as well. She was kind of a little bit mean, too, but she was funnier. She was a hopeless romantic. She did want love, but she just didn't believe in it.
Exactly. She had to be convinced.
So I liked her. Mason Gooding was a good lead as well. He did a good job at keeping it's a murder mystery. You don't know who the killer is.
Yes.
So he does a good job at keeping his name on the suspect list.
You know what? That probably attributes to the writing. So the writing, I had my thoughts because you watch a horror movie, you're always trying to guess who's the killer, who's the killer, who's the killer, and we both had a good guess or what we thought was a good guess, and then my thoughts were starting to waver. I'm like, maybe I'm not right. So I think the writing was good because Mason was able to always, like you said, keep himself on the list. It was like, well, is he? Is he not? I don't.
From the moment I saw the trailer, I was like, Mason Gooding's the killer.
Okay, you thought from the trailer.
Saw the trailer. And in the movie, he does a good job at putting you in between the two decisions. Is he the killer? Is he not the killer?
I agree.
He's good at not making it very crystal clear in the film.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Combination of his acting and the writing, I think, did a good job of that.
But that's all I want to give away for a non-spoiler.
All right. So we are going to get into our spoiler notes for Hard Eyes. If you don't want to be spoiled, pause, come back later. I feel like you can, even if you get spoiled, you can still,
this movie's fun.
It's fun, and we won't be able to like recreate the jokes.
right. No.
And the funny scenes that are like not jokes, but are just happening in the background. You need to watch the movie to experience that. Yeah. So even if you get spoiled, you should still watch this movie. It's still pretty fun. But we're going to get into our non-spoiler or our spoiler section in 3, 2, and 1.
So we can talk about Allie, who's played by Olivia Holt. She's the main character. Like we said, she works for a jewelry firm who's the fake Tiffany's, and she is responsible for launching the commercial for their Valentine's campaign. So
the problem is, though, that the Hard Eyes killer is a reoccurring killer, but he goes from city to city.
And in the country trotting. Which is strange.
One of my notes says, what does it say? Is he nationwide?
Yes, that was one of my notes was him being nationwide is kind of weird.
So I'm probably going to get the two cities wrong, but he was previously in Boston. And then before Boston, he was in another major city. But now he has shown up in Seattle where this movie takes place.
They immediately took off with it being ridiculous with the fact that this is
from place to place.
Yeah. Could you imagine Ghostface being nationwide and never being caught in any of these situations?
Right. So he's been going, this is like his third year of doing this. So he kills his first victim on a farm. It's two couples that are doing like a proposal, but it's like staged because they're trying to get somebody to... They're trying to record it for Instagram.
Like it's a secret, like somebody secretly recording this impromptu engagement that's set up this way.
Totally set. They even have to like start over. But anywho, they have this. This is our first kill of the movie. They have this kill, and then the news comes out like, oh my God, HBK. That's what they call him. HBK. Excuse me. Heart Eyes Killer.
Stupid.
Yeah, I didn't like the acronym actually
because they never used it.
It looked like heck.
Yeah, like, they stopped using it halfway through the movie
because it didn't make no sense.
No,
Heart Eyes is not hard to say.
It's not.
So Heart Eyes Killer is officially back. It's on the news, but Allie has created this campaign. Her jury campaign is about couples dying.
Yeah, so her campaign is inspired by all the Shakespearean couples who tragedies, romantic tragedies.
Yeah, not even just Shakespeare. She did Romeo and Juliet. She did Rose and what's his face on Titanic.
Rose and what's his face?
What's his name? What's the character's name?
I don't remember.
Exactly.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Rose and Leo. Tried to get me.
I forgot. I haven't watched that so long.
And then what was the third one? Jack. Rose and Jack. And then she does Bonnie and Clyde.
She does Bonnie and Clyde too.
They all these couples die.
All about well, you know what? It's funny because Rose is probably the one that didn't die.
Okay. Tragedy.
All of the other ones was about the couples dying.
Her campaign for jury for Valentine's Day is about couples that end in tragedy.
Well, it was about Love You to Death.
Oh.
That's what it was.
Love You to Death.
Or Until Death Do Us Part or something.
And the Heart Eyes Killer is now on the scene. And her boss is pissed because she's like, how are we supposed to put a campaign out?
And social media is cooking her.
And she can cook on social media. So they do add the modern element to this movie, which I also like. Because it's true. They put the campaign out. Boss is pissed because the campaign is talking about people dying. And there's a killer out killing couples. And she getting roasted on social media.
I didn't even realize for two things. One, I didn't realize the campaign was out already. I thought they were just watching the video that they prepared. It's like, okay, we have to scrap this.
Yeah, I did
up with
too.
something else. But the fact that they launched it was hilarious.
And Allie is watching, or she's watching on like Instagram or Twitter or something. She's looking at reading people's comments and they just like,
y'all are just now realizing how bad this ad is after this ad was terrible. This was the worst idea ever.
Because the ad actually shows these actresses and actors as couples getting shot.
Yeah.
And they have like fake blood as like ribbons coming out of them. And it's like, why would you put this on TV?
Yeah, Juliet like pulls out a dagger and slits her throat.
And it's like a fake blood ribbon coming out.
It's like, why would you do this?
The ad was trash before.
Why would this make you want to buy jewelry for your spouse for Valentine's Day, seeing all these couples dying brutally?
Right. So this adds to your fact that, your mention of, I don't know if Allie actually liked this job. I think she kind of admits it later.
And Mia Mason Goody is like, I don't think you like this.
And she goes on her tirade because she recently is out of a relationship. Mm-hmm. She's the one who ended it, but she's torturing herself because she's checking up on her ex-boyfriend and his girlfriend on social media. Mm-hmm. So we get a couple glimpses of her looking at their pictures that they post. But so she's jaded. She's sad. She hates her job. She's not in love with being in love right now. And her ad reflects all of that.
I also found it weird that her boss didn't know about it. Her boss was blaming everybody in the room for not informing her of the Heart Eyes Killers. Like, we just watched a montage of 3 years worth of national news broadcast about them talking. One of the guys was British. About them talking about the Heart Eyes.
International.
Right. International news about the Heart Eyes Killers. She was like, nobody told me about this. And I was waiting for somebody to be in the room like, have you watched television?
Her boss is like Miranda Priestley.
Yeah, she's bad.
Essentially, but worse language. Mm-hmm. And she's like roasting Allie in front of like all of the people. You're right. I don't know how she didn't know that the killer even existed, which should have been the red flag of not having that ad going.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did like her boss. Her boss was funny. Like she was mean, but it was funny.
She was like one of the Tammys.
Yeah.
From Parks and Rec. She was like Tammy. She was like Tammy 1.
Yeah, I would say Tammy 2 was a little more
flighty.
Something. But she's definitely got a mean streak. Boss has got a mean streak.
I thought Olivia Holt did a really good job as the final girl in this.
Yeah.
She kicked into action in the third act when it was time to have a face-off with the killers.
Right.
I thought she did really good with the comedy and the line delivery.
Her timing was really good.
Her timing was really good.
Yep.
What was one of my favorite scenes with... her scenes with Monica.
I was going to say, her and Monica's back and forth.
I guess we should talk about them both.
Mine as well.
Yeah.
Monica is Allie's... We're calling her best friend. And she's always trying to get Allie like in a good mood. And she's like, oh, you should date and you should, go find somebody else and stop stalking your ex-boyfriend and all that.
Because I guess Allie's kind of in a funk. So Monica's trying to get her out of that.
She is. But Monica is definitely her number one sidekick.
Yes.
Essentially.
Hey, Spoon Coon.
Yeah. Their back and forth is hilarious because Monica's dating some sugar daddy.
Unseen.
And she was like, I don't like that term. It's called a sponsor. I was like, girl, it's literally...
She said it's degrading.
It's literally the same thing. So whoever wrote Monica's lines... Top notch, A cinema score for you.
Monica is the friend you always want your quarter.
Yes.
Especially when you're down. Allie is talking about having to go on a date. It's essentially a date with Mason Gooding's character, but it's for work. It's work related. And Monica's like, this is clearly a date. Right. So she asked her, she's like, what are you wearing? And she's like, oh, I haven't decided yet. And she was like, why are you looking at me like that? She's like, she looked like a before picture.
Just like a friend should. And they take her out and they have a cute little montage where like trying on clothes and stuff. And Monica's like, no, don't do that. Yeah. Absolutely not. So yeah, that I like their relationship. Even though Monica's maybe in this for less than 10 minutes? A
collective 5 minutes.
Maybe. She was very effective as the best friend.
Monica also works with her. At Tiffany's.
Correct. So she's a best friend and Tiffany's. She's a best friend and they're also co-workers. Yeah. So that worked out.
All right, Mason Gooding.
Mason Gooding plays Jay Simmons. Now so here's the funny part about the movie. And I like how this was written. So Allie is in the Starbucks and she's getting her coffee order and they call out her coffee order and Jay Simmons shows up to grab the coffee because they apparently both have ordered a similar coffee. And Allie's like, there's no way that somebody ordered this. And she bursts out some ridiculous Starbucks order. But the guy that works at Starbucks calls out the order again and they're like, oh, there are 2 people with this weird order. So they have like an immediate connection. They are both clumsy.
Yes, but
super clumsy.
Can we talk about the Starbucks scene for a second?
Yes.
So they order the same weird drink, and they both reach for it, like you said.
Right.
And I was like, nobody would ever get this. He gets it too, and they hover at the counter forever, talking about the similarities between their weird drink choices. 2 things happen. One, the girl behind Allie in line is looking at the both of them like, girl, could you please move?
I didn't even notice
and the camera focuses on her like twice. And the girl is standing behind Allie like,
right, could y'all move out the way? Because they're standing, y'all been to Starbucks. They're standing in the spot where you go grab your drink. So they're in the way.
So the girl behind Allie is like waiting for her to finish her conversation so you can move. And the barista interrupts their conversation. It's like, actually, it's a very common order. Can you move?
One, I thought that scene was funny because they said it was common. And they both thought their drink was like super unique. Because Starbucks orders get real bougie. Yeah. But the dude was like, it's actually not that special. And then he tells them, move out the way. Right. Like, could y'all go?
I was waiting for the girl behind Allie to be like, could you move? But right. I didn't expect the barista to come out of nowhere and be like, actually, it's a common order. Could you move?
He did irritate it real well.
It was so funny.
In his 30 seconds. That was funny. I also like the Starbucks scene because they're super clumsy because she drops something and she goes to pick it up and they headbutt and then she drops it again and they're trying to pick up the thing that's dropped on the ground, but they keep butting each other's head. Yeah. But the last time they do it, she headbutts him so hard his nose bleeds.
Yes.
And instead of being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, let me help you out, she throws napkins in his face.
And leaves.
And runs. And Monica's just like,
I love the fact that she just panicked and left.
Monica was like, what did she say? She said she's about to get fired today.
It's okay.
Monica was like, sorry. She tells this to Jay. She's about to get fired today. She's having a bad day.
It wasn't even like she was running late. She was just like, I've ruined this. Right. I need to go.
And he's bleeding from his nose. Like, it's a full on nose
down
bleed.
to his mouth.
Disgusting. Mm-hmm. So then we get to work. We see the terrible ad that Allie's put together, and her boss is like, well, we didn't brought somebody in because obviously you need some help, because Allie thinks she's about to get fired. And she's like, no, I have you on contract for like 6 more months, and I'm about to milk every cent out of you. I need you to work with Jay. But come to find out, well, she doesn't say Jay. She says, I need you to work with the new guy. The new guy walks in, and then we find out the man she headbutted at Starbucks is Jay.
Yes.
So it's immediately super awkward because the man that she just ran away from, that she injured, is now about to be her coworker.
And he's like some well-known, super awarded, super high-regarded marketing genius. So, and somehow she didn't know who he was, probably because she has no interest in marketing. Oh. So,
right.
She didn't recognize who he was.
She didn't know who he was, but this man had won like a Peabody or something for marketing, and everybody's like, who is this?
Right.
Who is this? So they have to work together to put together an ad because the boss wants a new ad out immediately. And he is only there for the night. So that's when I started thinking he was the killer.
And he specifically does romance or love-based campaigns.
Yes, that is his specialty. So when it was implied that they only had tonight and then he had to leave, and I was like, oh, he's the killer, because earlier when we get introduced to Hobbs and Shaw, they mentioned that the killer only kills on Valentine's Day and then he's gone for the next year. So I was like, oh, so he's in town to do the killings and then he gonna bounce.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, he's the killer. Let's establish this already. But he actually wasn't.
No, he was not the killer.
But we don't know that until like the last 10 minutes.
But he does a very good job with his acting. He plays too good to be true very well. Because their relationship is too good to be true. Right. The fact that they have that much in common.
They have that much in common. They're like getting to know each other. Yeah. And obviously, you know, they're kind of like falling for each other, but trying to play hard to get or whatever. I'm like, girl, that man is a killer.
Yeah, the chemistry is too good to be true. So he did a really good job at that.
He did a good job at that. We do have a scene where they actually run into the killer. And then I was like, oh, there's just 2 killers.
Yeah.
I wasn't even convinced when the killer shows up in both of them.
Smart. Yeah.
You're right. I was like, oh, he working. I was like, he a twin. Yeah. He working with somebody
Billy
else.
Loomis.
I was definitely convinced that Mason Gooding was the killer until we get to the very end of the movie.
Yeah, and I also had a thought that he was a killer because he was not the killer in Scream. He's in a different slasher. I was like, oh, it makes the most sense
to be the killer.
For him to be the killer.
Yeah. So that was good. That was good.
That was good. He had good comedy too. He was supposed to be like the buff, handsome, attractive guy. When they fight the killer and he gets knocked out and gets his nose busted for a second time.
He gets his nose busted, and then he also gets a head.
Yeah, he gets like a concussion.
Something somehow. Later. He's not the fighting type.
A second time, and when the killer knocks him out and then starts to just chase Allie, and then she has to fight him off and long enough for the police to come.
Right.
He's upset because he's like, well, you just left me. And she's like, you're big and huge and muscly and tall and strong. And I'm a little girl. He would have killed me. He was like, these muscles are for cuddling, not for violence.
Yeah. So he establishes himself, Jay, as like, no, I'm not the fighting back type. No. Like, you literally left me. She's like, no, I literally was trying to save my own life.
Like, he wasn't trying to murder you anymore.
You were literally unconscious.
He was leaving you alone.
Coming after me. Now, the only thing that kind of annoyed me about some of the character choices is that they didn't just like run away. They would like run away and hide outside. I'm like, why don't you just keep running? Yeah. You are literally outside. You can run to a police station. You can run home. You can run. Well, they came from home, so maybe not.
The slasher rule is always be moving. Don't stop and hide.
Not even in the opening kill, the main chick, the main chick stops twice. Yeah. Outside, and it's like, girl, and then she stops inside. I'm like, okay, you did.
Yeah. Even if you're out of breath, grab something to defend yourself on the way, and then if he catches up, you can fight him off, but always be moving. Yeah, you have a better chance moving.
They broke this rule maybe like 10 times.
Several times.
In this movie. Yeah. And that was the only annoying part.
Loudly. In some instances.
They'd be like coughing and laughing and hacking and crunching on stuff. I'm like,
and I didn't know if it was intentional or not.
Killer after you. Why are you popping gum?
The movie is so unserious. Like, are you being this loud on purpose? Right.
Screaming, literally. Yeah. Or they would be like, they didn't know where the killer was, and the character would like scream somebody's name, and I'd be like, why would you do that?
In the opening kill, I don't know much about farm life, so I'm just gonna call it a water tumbler because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. It does. It tumbles water. Yeah. The girl in the beginning of the film crawls into some type of water tumbler. In a farm. Yeah. And instead of just being still, she's like sloshing around inside of it. Right.
Like, I'm like, he can hear you breathing.
Yeah. Like you're in this metal box. The reverb is probably ridiculous.
Right. And you can hear going with the water.
Are you being serious? Right? Do you want to be found?
Like she was taking a bath. at home. And she's making so much. And the killer literally stops and is just like, oh, you ain't here. Obviously.
Like, anybody would have known you was
Hello,
there.
ma'am.
One, you're bleeding from the foot. Two, you're acting like you're in a swimming pool.
It's like, did you want me to know you was in here? Because now I do. So she obviously dies because she died. He locks her in there, and the slosher has two things on the end that like smashes things. So the very first gruesome, we get 2 kills before that. Her kill is the 2 things come together and crush her, and she pops like a balloon.
Oh, gross.
Which human bodies obviously don't do that.
No.
But anyway, the characters making too much noise was one of my. We ain't that section yet. That was one of my dislikes. That was making too much noise. Like, let's be practical here.
Okay, so I guess we can talk about Hobbs and Shaw, which is Jordana Brewster and Devon Sawa.
So I don't know if the Hobbs and Shaw reference is because Jordana Brewster is from Fast and Furious.
Yes, and because when she mentions it, they introduce themselves to Allie like, I'm Detective Hobbs and Shaw. Allie's like, Hobbs and Shaw, is that intentional? And Jordana Brewster goes, she was like the movie, and Jordana Brewster's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. So yes, it was on purpose. And I was just like, first of all, I do not like that movie. Oh, I struggled to finish Hobbs and Shaw. I don't recommend it.
But the joke landed.
It did.
For that type of joke.
Because they keep referencing to them as Hobbs and Shaw.
And they call each other Hobbs and Shaw all the time.
Just like, it's stupid.
I'm serious.
No, wait, which one was, hold on, let me see. Which one was Hobbs and which one was Shaw? So Jordana Brewster was Shaw. Mm-hmm. So Hobbs is a stupid idiot that I referenced to earlier who was hollering people's names in the police station. So what happens is the killer comes for Allie and Jay. They chase him to a park.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then
Allie fights him off in a carousel.
Fights him off. He gets away, but then the police, this is a plot hole. Somehow the police deduce that Jay is the killer.
I think I know how.
Okay.
I think I have a guess how.
So they arrest him and take him to the police station because they're like, oh, we think you're a hard ass.
Right. I think the killer planted it because the killer went back and planted it.
Okay.
So that when the police showed up, they said he was wearing this because the last time we saw Mason Gooding, he was knocked out.
Okay, you're right. So there's a ring planted at the OG crime scene with the initials JS. Jay's last name is Simmons. So JS. And they're like, oh, it's you. And then somehow he's also been in the same cities at the same time as the other killings in Boston and the other cities.
He's a freelance traveling specialist.
The timings was lining up to where, and I was like, oh, okay. But I was convinced he was a killer, so it was working out for me.
He wasn't doing a very good job of denying it.
No, he was giving that kind of like, I'm a freelancer. And he's kind of like, well.
You can't play that as coincidence. Yeah. Not with murder.
Right. So he's locked up in a,
Holding interrogation room.
There you go. But then Hard Eye shows up, so it's kind of like, okay, so is he really? And it seems like he's actually trying to kill Jay. And I'm like, okay, so maybe he's not the killer. This is when my theory was getting broken because I was like, well, the killer wouldn't be trying to kill Jay if Jay was killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, okay, I failed at guessing who the killer was.
So my thought was it was gonna maybe be a misdirect because while he's trying to kill Jay, Allie is in the other side of the glass watching.
Right.
So I'm like, maybe this is staged because she's present.
You're right.
So he's staging the guy because the killer was not doing a great job trying to kill Jay in the interrogation room. For as skill, the killer is basically like Van Helsing.
Yeah. He's a ninja.
Yeah, they've demonstrated his skill set. He knows karate.
He's John Wick.
Yeah.
A little bit without a gun.
This isn't just like Ghostface fumbling around and running into stuff. This guy's precise.
He got daggers that he's throwing and they hitting right between the eyes.
He has several weapons. His throwing knives are monogrammed with like hearts in them. This is a professional.
Yeah. So you're right. So when he gets to the interrogation room to try to kill Jay, quote unquote, he's not doing a very good job. So my theory was getting cracked a little bit, but I wasn't 100% convinced. And then Allie ends up getting a gun, right? And shooting the glass in the interrogation room, but somehow she misses. And she shoots around the killer.
Yes, and he still makes it out of the room.
And Jay was kind of like, you're a horrible shot. And we're all in the audience like, yes, she sucks. She's not very good at this.
So the killer leaves. Killer kills Devon Sawa.
Yeah. So Hobbs dies.
Yeah, Hobbs dies. Injures Jordana Brewster, Shaw. We don't see it, though.
Right.
We just see her go out to confront him. But the killer gets away.
And this is where we get a big old long scene of the killer trying to find our couple at a drive-in theater movie.
So the couple runs out of the precinct and they're like, well, we need to lead him to a place where there are more couples. I don't know what their thought process was.
I don't think they meant to. It sounded like they accidentally led him to whatever.
Or they just maybe they just meant to go to a public place.
Maybe.
So they ended up going to the drive-in, which is having a Valentine's Day themed movie showing, and it's full of couples.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he just starts slicing and dicing the people closest in proximity.
He just starts randomly shanking people as he's walking through the crowd.
Not even couples, just people just there, and they're like, "Hey, buddy." I was like, so I guess that might be another. I'm jumping sections again. Another dislike was that he wasn't just focused on couples; he was just randomly killing people just standing on the side.
The drive-in scene was kind of just like him just killing people.
It was chaos.
Yeah,
it was a little bit too much chaos that wasn't fitting with the plot.
And it didn't make sense that nobody would stop him. All those vehicles, nobody ran him over.
Nothing.
Nobody had a gun. This is America.
Not until he kills a couple in a car that our couple is in, who are having extracurricular activities that we can very much hear. Mm-hmm. Wink, wink. You can guess what that is.
Yeah, and they showed it in the trailer.
You're right. They do show it in the trailer. Once again, this is rated R, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
He kills that couple, and once he kills that couple, then everybody starts freaking out. And it's kind of like, now Hard Eyes is a known killer. The man with a Hard Eyes mask is walking around the drive-in, and y'all just kind of like.
Actually, had they received?
Is that Hard Eyes?
Had anybody gotten a picture of him?
Well, he's famous. Yes.
So did they know what his mask was?
Because when we were doing our news cycle portion of the movie, they had like a sketch.
And a guy scared her with the mask at the coffee shop earlier. So he's a public figure.
He's like Ghostface.
Yeah.
So everybody knows, and he's this one worldwide.
He was there for a while.
And nobody called
walking around, because while he was at the drive-in, we get a very long scene between Allie and Jay.
Yeah.
Where they are bonding while they're hiding out in the sex van.
Exactly.
They're bonding about their separate experiences with why Allie doesn't believe in love anymore.
Right. Their parents' relationships.
Mm-hmm, and why Jay thinks that love is still worth it or whatever.
Right. So not until he kills the couple in the sex truck van do everybody start freaking out. So we get this long scene of like them fighting back or whatever. They kill Hard Eyes, or so we think.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like.
So she hits him in the back of the head with some type of cinder block or something.
Right. And then Jay stabs him with his own knife. Mm-hmm. So Hard Eyes is dead. They take off the mask, and surprise, surprise, it's nobody we see in the whole movie.
Yeah. So it was.
We're all like, who is this?
It ended up being a random. That's the second time that's happened to me. And I liked it. The first time it was in Sick.
Okay.
Which was a COVID slasher.
Okay.
Based around COVID.
Okay.
Okay. Where she killed. It was halfway through the movie. And the final girl killed the killer, took the mask off. She was like, I have no idea who this man is.
I wonder if they like borrowed that.
So that was kind of what it was like in this one.
Yeah, and we were kind of like, I was like, okay, the movie's not over, so when are we going to get to it?
I like the fact that both of them had no idea who the man was.
So we have our couple still alive, and we think Hard Eyes is dead, and then Detective Shaw shows up to take, so they're saying their goodbyes or whatever, like, because Jay was supposed to leave the next day.
Yeah.
So Jay's
the night
like,
is over.
Right. Jay's like, maybe we should finish up the ad. And Allie's like, no, like, you should just go home or whatever. And then Shaw shows up to take Jay to, I guess, the airport or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get into, before we get to the ending, let's get to any other likes and dislikes we did not share.
Sure. So I am glad. I liked Monica.
I did like Monica.
Super fun, super great. Loved her as a friend.
Yep.
The serial killer being assassin was fun.
He was skilled.
It made it.
He was a little too skilled for my taste.
It made more sense for, if he was any less skilled, I don't think the movie would have been as long, because it was two of them against one. So he had to have a certain set of skills.
He didn't even need to be close to you to kill you, because he had a dagger he could throw and
a crossbow.
He had a crossbow.
He had a freaking crossbow.
Listen.
That's how he killed the cab driver. He shot a crossbow him.
That cab driver did not deserve that.
He didn't.
That's why I didn't like the indiscriminate killing of like people that weren't couples. That was my dislike for that.
I thought it was funny that the friends were brutally murdered, then they decided to keep the dinner reservation.
Yes. So the couple at the beginning that gets killed.
Her boyfriend and his girlfriend, her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend.
We're supposed to do a double date with the couple that gets killed at the very beginning. And they were just like, oh, we're doing it in their honor. And it was like, they just died yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Maybe that's why she ain't with this dude no more. Yeah. That was weird.
I thought that was funny. They were like, oh yeah, but we decided to keep the reservation.
And everybody was just looking like
they just died. Your couple's friends just died. What? Just died.
Literally. On the news.
And you're celebrating and going to...
This is how we know the killer is here, because they're dead.
And she said, oh, he was... It made sense later on when Allie's like, he was emotionally unavailable. That makes sense. Because he just went to Valentine's Day dinner in memory of his dead friends who were just brutally murdered. I thought the third act was super dramatic.
The third...
we'll get to the ending.
Yeah, it was a little
The third act was one of the most dramatic third acts ever.
It was a little dramatic. I agree. I mean, they were trying to wrap up the movie and stuff as much as they could. And at the end, I was kind of like, let's get to it.
They do the killer reveal and they do the exposition of this is how I did it. Yeah. Like they do in all slashers,
right.
This one was just super dramatic.
Yeah, it wasn't no different than any other slasher. When we find out who is the killer and why they did it, you're like, oh, okay, you're going to explain it to me. Got it.
Other dislikes I had, the only dislike kind of was some of the pacing with the conversations between Allie and Jay when they're talking about love. The conversation at the dinner table was kind of long, and the conversation in the shaggin' wagon was long.
The shagging wagon was definitely long because
it was super long.
They were shagging in the back.
They kept getting louder and like interjecting these sounds in between, like them trying to have this heart-to-heart moment.
I was tired of hearing it. Actually,
the scene was funny, but it did go on too long. Right. But I think I had that dislike because I did not expect it to be so heavy on the rom-com. I thought it would be more slasher. They definitely don't skimp on the rom-com.
It is a slasher rom-com comedy. Yeah. Oh wait, com is comedy. Y'all know what I mean. It is a horror rom-com. Yeah, for sure.
That's all the likes and stuff I have before we get into the ending.
I sprinkled all mine in, so I think I covered. I have one random note, but I will save that until
I have a couple random notes. And we'll wait to the ending.
We'll wait to the ending. So the very ending is Allie goes to get Mason from the hospital. Goes to get Mason from the airport because Monica convinces her, like, girl, this is the guy that you like. Like, why are you sitting at home? She was like, girl, go chase that melanin, which I thought was freaking hilarious because Olivia Holt is white and Mason Gooding is black or mixed. Something.
Two things. They did the go get that melanin, and then when Olivia goes to the police precinct to get Mason Gooding out of prison, the guard goes to Jordana Brewster and she's like, we got an HWW up front. And she's like,
I forgot about that part.
What does that mean? And she said hysterical white woman.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
That was funny. So there is, if you sensitive to that, get over it. But it was hilarious, especially when she said go get that melanin. I was like, did she say what I think she just said? Because there's obviously a complexion difference.
Right.
So that she goes to the airport to go get Mason. Y'all know what I mean, Jay. Mm-hmm. But she gets a phone call and she's like, hey, she can't find him. She's like, hey, hello, who is this? And it's the Hard Eyes killer. And then she's like, oh, stat. Yeah. Hard Eyes is still alive. So he tells her to go to this chapel, Valentine's Chapel, whatever.
Saint Valentine.
Yeah, she goes to the chapel. Jay is all hooked up, beat up, gagged or whatever.
It's basically the third act of Scream 2 when the boyfriend in the theater. When the boyfriend was strung up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have the setup, and then now we're at the point of revealing our killers. Who, I think he starts off with the mask right when she walks in, and then he takes it off, and it is. At first, we're like, "Who are you?" And it comes to be the IT guy that we just met 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, we didn't mention because he was such an inconsequential character.
When she's in a police station, the IT guy tries to shoot his shot, and she's like, dude, I almost died. Like, I'm not interested. He's like, oh, okay, I'll just go on my way. So then when he reveals himself as the killer, everybody's like, who are you again?
Even she is like, who?
Right. He gets a little irritated, right? He's like, I'm the IT guy. She's like, oh, okay. What is the point? Like, why are you doing this? And then it's when we get the reveal that Detective Shaw is his boo thing, wife or whatever, and she is also Hard Eyes. So it was a throuple.
It was three of them, and they only killed one.
Right, and the third guy was just a string along that they used as disposable. So they let him get killed. But they were actually the main two killers that were, I guess, flipping back and forth, killing people whenever they needed, which was not a surprise because you were like, we saw that Shaw got hurt, but we know that Shaw got hurt because she had her arm in a sling, I guess.
Yeah, so
but we didn't see it.
In the end, when she comes to pick Mason Gooding up after they killed Hard Eye, she's in a sling. But I was like, we never saw her confrontation with Hard Eye. She kind of went out in the hallway, she saw him, and then it cut.
Right. And so the plot point is, or the big reveal is that they just liked killing couples as a kink.
Yeah. So I unfortunately knew who Jordana Brewster was the minute she showed up with the sling. I knew she was going to be one of the killers.
I was starting to get suspicious because, I actually was holding on to Mason being a killer up until the very end because I thought they were faking, like, oh, we fake beat him up and we're going to fake it. But then when she revealed herself, I was like, oh.
For me, it was Mason Gooding, and then it was Jordana Brewster, and then it was both of them.
Okay. Right. For a second, I thought it might have been.
Is it both of you?
I thought it might have been them two. But no, it was IT Guy and Detective Shaw. This is a kink that they do. Every year they go around killing couples just because it's fun.
Because she mentions earlier in the investigation that everybody's got a kink, and this killer's got a kink, and they need to just deduce what the kink is to figure out what it was.
I thought it was kind of
empty.
Flimsy. Yeah, it was a little flimsy, a little flat. There could have been a more creative way to do it.
Because it just boiled down to y'all are crazy.
Yeah, that was it.
Y'all are crazy, and it didn't have to be Allie and Jay. It could have been anybody. It was anybody before them. So.
Exactly. The only reason why they picked Allie and Jay is because she fake kissed Jay outside of the restaurant when she runs to her ex-boyfriend.
And the chemistry and the fake kiss look so real.
Right, and she was trying to convince her ex-boyfriend, oh, I have a new guy or whatever. And they were doing an awkward conversation, but Hard Eyes was looking and saw the kiss and was like, oh, I want to kill them now instead.
And I love the fact that throughout the film, Allie and Jay are screaming at Hard Eyes like, we're not together. Leave us alone.
And Hard Eyes is like,
absolutely not.
Anyway.
They're like, we don't even date.
But I thought that was a good point though, because because the reason one of my dislikes was the fact that he was killing random people. It's like, you're not supposed to be killing random people. You're supposed to be killing couples, and this couple was telling you they're not a real couple.
Yeah.
But
she was like, we barely know each other.
Sure, right, sure, whatever, Hard Eyes, whatever. You just wanted to kill people. Let's not get too deep here.
So the two of them are the killers, the last remaining killers, and they give Allie a choice. They're like, we'll give you a gun with one bullet, which was stupid. If you're the killer, never arm your victims. That's dumb. It's
right.
Dumb. But they give her a gun with a revolver with one bullet, and they say you can either shoot yourself or you can die.
Right.
And they didn't say they will let him go?
They did not.
So they probably would have killed him anyway?
Yes.
So you can shoot yourself and kill you both, or you can shoot him and we'll let you go.
Which they weren't.
So
everybody was going to die.
They were going to shoot her in the back with a crossbow as soon as she turned around.
Literally. Or use a dagger.
Or use a throwing knife.
Right to the neck.
Right. So that wasn't going to happen.
Nah.
So she does a fake out and she shoots Mason Gooding in the shoulder. Somehow.
It goes through his
somehow
shoulder.
She has perfected her craft at shooting
because
with a revolver.
Sucked about 20 minutes ago.
An even worse gun, an automatic weapon that she had earlier.
Yeah.
So she shot him in the shoulder, which goes through and through, and goes into Jordana's stomach.
Yeah, but she
wounds
don't.
her.
Right, but she don't die.
Right, because it's a slasher rule, so you can take a couple gut shots.
Right, so we get a lot of fighting back and forth between Jordana and Allie, and then we get a back and forth between Jay and IT Guy. And the long story short, Allie and Jay survive.
Yeah, Jay kills the IT guy
exactly.
in a 1v1. Well, kind of, because he shoots him in the face with one of his little crossbow arrows.
Yeah, it goes to his eyeball, and somehow he doesn't die. Right, he's just mortally wounded. But then wax falls on him and he burns. I'm like, the wax not that hot, but sure, I'll go with it. I'll go with candle wax burning you to death. So that's how he dies. Allie
kills Jordana Brewster, Shaw, by tackling her into a sword, St. Vincent, inside the chapel, and it decapitates her. And we get a very long, gross scene of Shaw's head being slowly pulled away from her body. And her body falls on the ground, then her head rolls off the sword and falls on top of her body.
Logistically, didn't make no sense.
It was super, super gross.
But I get it. Yeah. Right. Like I said, this movie is very gory.
It's very nasty.
If you don't like blood, this ain't for you. So that is our ending. And then I guess our very, very last part of the ending is Allie and Jay stay together. Allie does quit the marketing firm and goes back to medical school, which we find out she was in medical school previously and dropped out.
Yeah, she fell out because she's afraid of blood. So I don't know how she got over. Maybe all of that made her get over her feeling of blood.
She should at this point. Yeah. Blood has literally been in her mouth.
Yeah.
Of other people. And I guess it's implied that Jay stays because he gives Allie a key to his apartment so they can be together. And then I'll leave my thoughts behind that part.
Your final dislike?
In my put it in random notes.
Oh,
it is a dislike, but
okay.
So it ends a happily ever after.
It does. It ends in a happily ever
after.
I
forgot. And then we get and then I was like, is there like an after credit scene? So we get Allie gets a phone call, right? And this is never good in a slasher movie. She gets a phone call from like an unknown number. She answers it and it sounds like Hard Eyes. And he's like, I can see you now, or I'm going to get you or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, how did you do this? And she's like, hello, it's me. And it's Monica. Monica called Allie and voiced herself as Hard Eyes.
Because she's taking candid photos of them while they're at the drive-in.
Right at the drive-in being cute. And it's just...
She's behind them.
Right.
With old tripod. In a
scope.
In a scope and a fancy chair. It's got like this fur blanket on it.
Right.
So
Monica's like...
Her sponsor has done her very well.
Yes. Monica's doing well, which I like. And Monica lived.
And she lived.
That was actually the most important part. So we don't get like an after credit scene or like a stinger of that he's still alive. It's Monica playing games with Allie. So yeah. Let's get into our favorite line or scene.
I have a favorite line, which I already said, which is when Monica told Allie, you look like a before picture.
Okay. My favorite scene is actually going to be the one we just talked about where Monica calls Allie as Hard Eyes and she's playing.
That was funny because Allie hung up on her. Monica's like, hello?
Hello? It's hilarious. I loved Monica. All right, what random notes do you have?
So random notes that I had. My first random note was that Monica is a red shirt, which is what they call people in slashers that are casted to just be a kill. I thought that's what she was.
Oh, but she made it.
She made it. So she didn't die. And that my note further down the list was, it's going to be sad when Monica dies. And then my note at the end is, Monica lived. So I was super glad that Monica lived.
We like Monica.
I thought the ad was terrible, regardless of the fact that there was a killer out there. That was awful.
Trash.
Alex Browning and Jordana Brewster's character from The Faculty. I thought it was very interesting that both Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster are back.
We just talked about The Faculty too, because there's a remake coming.
And Final Destination is back.
Final Destination is definitely back.
The Faculty is getting a reboot, and I'm like, oh, that's fun.
All the horror cult classic actors and actresses are getting like second lives.
Yeah, so cool. More of these two, because I liked Devon Sawa's little role. It was fun.
It wasn't much.
Just an annoying sidekick character cop.
He was, and I still didn't recognize him.
Kind of like, I'm gonna murder his life, Bobby Cannavale's character in Maxine. Yes.
You're right.
He was the irritating sidekick cop character, and Jordana Brewster was the Michelle Moynihan.
You're right. You are very right about that.
I thought she was hallucinating.
You did, which I was like,
so I thought that a twist was going to be that because she only kept seeing the killer when Jay was around.
Okay.
So I thought that it was going to be that she's so in love with Jay, she doesn't see him as a killer. And that's why when he gets in a scuffle with the killer, he gets knocked out. And then chases her.
I didn't think the movie was gonna be able to pull something like that off that deep.
I didn't. That was my one outlandish guess.
Okay.
I thought Jordana Brewster was too easy of a guess.
Super easy.
After the sling.
She was also not very smart. She was on dating apps herself, and there was a couple scenes where you thought she was actually into Jay, and I was like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
You think this man's a killer, but you're also,
you are the killer.
Attracted? I don't know, but yeah, maybe that was her killer slipping through.
And she sealed her own fate by why would you give Allie a gun?
Yeah, that was stupid.
It was stupid. Just kill her.
Right. But once again,
these people.
The killers were not very convincing to me.
But I liked her. I haven't seen her in very many things outside of the Fast franchise now, and she did a good job. I thought she did a good job.
Her acting wasn't bad. Her character was just goofy.
Last note is Chekhov's straw.
I forgot about the straw.
So throughout the film, whenever somebody offers Allie a drink, she pulls out a metal straw from her purse because she says she's
trying to save the environment.
Tries to save the environment by not using plastic or paper straws, and she said paper straws suck because they get soggy.
They do get soggy.
They do. So she uses her metal straw, and she calls herself an environmentalist. Yeah. It came up several times. It came up in the coffee shop. Yep. It came up at dinner because for some reason they metal detected her at the restaurant, which was weird, and found it in her purse and thought it was weird.
Right.
And then she uses it to stab Jordana Brewster in the neck. Yeah. In the third act. Because she didn't have any weapons on her.
It's funny because she tries to call it a weapon earlier, and Jay was like, that's not a weapon. But turns out, It actually works. It actually works. So good for her.
Those are my random notes.
My random note is a dislike that I've been saving. So at the very, very, very end of the movie, Jay is giving Allie a key to his place because he wants her to move in. And it's in a ring box. So you think he's like proposing, but she's like, it ends up being a key. But you know, it's only been a year. Maybe they need more time. Whatever. But she's like, no, I'm not going to accept this key. And Jay's kind of like, okay, I'm feeling kind of stupid now. She's like, I just want you. I want you to, you know, us to be together forever. And this heifer proposes to Jay.
So she pulls out a ring box with a ring.
She pulls out a ring box with a ring. And I was like, no. I'm literally in the theater going, because there's like 5 of us in the theater. And I'm kind of being quiet. I'm like, no. I don't care what universe, what timeline, what time period we in. I don't care if we in the 616 MCU. I don't care if we wear the Fantastic Four in a retro futuristic time period. A woman should not be proposing to no man. And that is all I got to say about that.
I think that it was funny.
No.
And I think they missed an opportunity. The ring should have been engraved with JS. Because he says earlier in the film, when they try to
nobody would have a ring.
He says nobody would be stupid enough to have their own initials engraved in their own engagement ring. And I think that would have been hilarious if Allie had his initials engraved in the ring.
I disapprove of her
that
actions.
They thought he was the murderer because...
No, never.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
It makes perfect sense for her character to do that.
No.
It does. It makes perfect sense for her unserious character who doesn't believe in love to do that.
No. I did not like her proposing to him. That's my own personal thing, but I bet you if you poll 500 women, 498 of them gonna say, do not propose to a man. But that did not ruin the movie
maybe
for me.
Maybe the experience changed her. She learned how to shoot a gun. She killed somebody. She killed 2 people.
Then she should have just
waited. Now she proposed.
Yeah, she should have waited on Jay to do it.
Quit her job.
No,
she's been through changes.
I don't agree with that. I literally, as soon as she pulled out that box, I was like, she better not.
I knew it. As soon as she said, I want you, I was like, she's going to pull out a ring.
Oh, I was literally just shaking my head like, no.
So
no,
good.
Girl. Stand up. But yeah, it didn't ruin the movie for me at all. But I did not like that point of her proposing to him. And that's for my own personal reasons.
I'm done with our random notes. Do you want to get into our rating?
Yes.
Okay. I will go first.
Okay.
I'm going to give this a 5.
Oh.
I'm going to give this a 5, Nicole Kidman. This was fun. I did not expect it to be as fun.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to be as funny.
Okay.
It did not disappoint on the kills. So the slasher element, it didn't do all of that and sacrifice the kills to make it funny and make it a rom-com. It hit the rom-com, the comedy, and the slasher parts all perfectly.
I got you.
It was fun. The pacing was good. I do think I want to get this on physical because I can see myself rewatching this.
Oh, you gonna watch this like 12 times?
Maybe like as a yearly thing.
Okay.
And it was much needed. It was much needed fun comedy.
Okay.
So, yeah,
okay. As opposed to being like a dark, sadistic horror movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm gonna give it 4.
Okay.
Solid 4.
Because of the proposal.
just really didn't like that. You're right. It probably does. I'm trying to say it's not factoring into my decision, but it actually is. I was so offended. I was like, don't have that girl do that.
Oh my gosh.
But my true whole one taking it off is I've enjoyed other slashers more, I think. Some of the characters was just, it was too
unserious.
It was too maybe that's what it was. It was just, some scenes were just like, I know I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief, but this is just too goofy for me in some parts, only in some parts. Overall, though, I mean, 4 out of 5 is still good. I enjoyed it. If it was on TV, it was something I might sit and actually just finish watching and cut it off right before she busts that ring box out. But other than that, it was funnier than I thought. I do think they could have turned the gore down a little. It was just too gross gory. And I don't mind gore, but gross, I don't know how people are probably like, gross gore, girl, what are you talking about? It was just too unrealistic.
I mean, it's hard to describe. You have to see it. But the scene when Jordana Brewster is being decapitated takes about 30 seconds.
It's just like, no, what?
And it's not just her being her head chopped off. It's her neck like being stretched apart. Yeah, like she's Gumby.
Yeah, some of the gore was a little unserious. That's what it was.
The kill and yeah.
The first kill, or not the first kill, the opening kills with the girl and the little water swasher or whatever. I was like, a body doesn't explode like that.
Oh, I had a random note that I wanted to add about the ending. I like the breakdown of who was the killer at which time. So when they're doing the third act reveal and they're doing this is how I did it and this is why, they do we get some flashbacks of all the times they encountered the Hard Eyes killer. And they're telling like, okay, this one was Jordana Brewster. Yeah. This one was the boyfriend. This one was the third random guy. So Jordana Brewster's character Shaw was only the killer in the apartment. Okay. She was only the killer the first time in the apartment when they stopped her pretty easily, right, and then locked her in the room, and they got away. And from then on, the rest of the killers were always the other two guys.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was nice to kind of get an audience some context.
I like that because a lot of people complain, and that's like the new thing nowadays, is to complain in slashers about the killer can't be a woman because the killer's too tall or too strong.
Oh, now I will admit that when we first see the killer, I was trying to size her up. Size the killer up to be like, is this a man or is this a woman?
But in a masked slasher, you have to suspend your disbelief. Right. The mask gives them super strength. Exactly. So there's a scene when the guy kills one of the police officers with one of the flagpoles and they lift her up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she wasn't small.
You got to be strong for that.
Yeah. You have to be brilliant. Lift her up and threw her on the strength of a flagpole.
I mean, you got to... If you put a flagpole through somebody, it take a lot of effort.
Yeah, all the karate chopping, being able to fight Mason Gooding, although they established that he's not a fighter. But being able to overpower two people at one or multiple people at the drive-in.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a good mystery if you rule out it's not a good mystery if you rule out all of the women in the movie because she's not tall enough or big enough. Right. You just suspend your disbelief. The killer can be anybody.
It's a slashing.
Putting on the suit makes you bigger, makes you stronger, makes you faster.
Makes you more confused about who the actual killer can be.
Yeah, so I like the fact that they broke down who the killers were when. It doesn't matter, but they ruled out the ability of people being able to complain about that. Right. So,
they were like, we're going to catch y'all at the front end.
Yeah.
So 5 for you, 4 for me. I think that means y'all should go watch it.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
It's pretty good. It was better. What I say was, I thought I was gonna be more scared of the mask, so I was already a little apprehensive. But the fact that I wasn't made this movie more enjoyable for me.
Yeah, and it doesn't have very many jump scares. Scares are pretty telegraphed. Like you can tell when he's gonna pop out. I think the one time he super surprised me is in the police precinct. But I had a feeling he was behind one of them flags if he wasn't in the utility closet.
Okay, now I did not see him by the flag, so that might have been one jump scare for me. Yeah, because I definitely had one eye open. Like, okay,
that one kind of got me, but I was expecting him to pop up. Okay, but also with that scene earlier, we talked about them making all the noise. When she was trying to hide, so in that scene, he cuts the power out to the police precinct and all the lights are out. That's the one scene where he turns his eyes on.
Because it's night vision.
Night vision, so he can look around the room. And there would be no reason to use night vision because Allie is making all the noise in the world, scuffling in her boots around the floor.
That's what she sound like. That's what she sound like, y'all. That's what she sound like.
She's making so much noise. And she's not even moving very quickly.
Girl, you right over there.
And she gets away, but it's like, you could have done that. You could have done that a lot better.
There are a lot of times when people get away. You're like, there's no way they should be.
It's like, were you trying?
That's why the movie was very unserious.
Even in the shaggin' wagon, they're telling them like, please shut up. They're telling them like the killer. They tell the couple the killer is out there. He's looking for people to kill, and they will not be quiet.
They're getting down to business the whole time while they're having a conversation.
So absolutely go see it. We liked it. I'm getting it on physical. It's a 5 for me and a 4 for Cheryl.
Yeah, so definitely go check it out before all the new movies come out. Take it out of theaters.
This is a dumb question. What are we watching next week?
Now you know better. Finally. It feels like we have long droughts between Marvel movies nowadays.
It does, yeah.
But
they started releasing less.
It's going to be even less next year.
Yeah.
And if this is not included what we're watching next week, it is Captain America, Brave New World. I'm so excited. I got a popcorn bucket. Jay got a popcorn bucket.
And a cup.
So I'm going to put some libations in. And I'm going to wear my Marvel Spirit jersey.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I don't have a Spirit Halloween Marvel shirt. I was going to get a Captain America shirt, but they're mostly short sleeve. And I'm like, it's still like 30 degrees in Ohio. So I'm like, I'm just going to wear my Marvel shirt.
I'm trying to decide if I have an image of the cover of Outkast's Stankonia.
Okay.
But it's Captain America and Anthony Mackie doing the Andre 3000 pose.
Oh, where'd you get that from?
It's in a book.
Okay.
It's in a tabletop book I have in my house of hip hop, or not all hip hop, but yeah, they're all hip hop album covers.
With superheroes.
They're restylized with superheroes on top. And in one of them, they do Stankonia with Old Man Captain America and Anthony Mackie. Well, not Anthony Mackie, and Sam Wilson. And they're both in their Captain America uniforms posing.
That would make a good shirt.
I want to see if I can take that like to CVS or something or somewhere and get that printed on a shirt. Because nobody else has that.
No. And the one I actually want, the shirt I actually want, everybody has the version of it, but the print is smaller. But I want it like bigger. So I don't know. Let's see
if I can take it somewhere to get it printed.
We both got popcorn buckets though.
Yeah.
And we got our tickets.
So we'll be ready.
We'll be ready. We'll be there. Very excited. I don't care about
on a premium screen.
Right. Dolby. Not Dolby. XD.
Yes.
Because Dolby's at AMC. I ain't messing with AMC. I don't care I don't want to hear no hateration. Keep all your comments. So with Sam, not on this podcast comments, I will delete immediately. Matter of fact, don't leave a voicemail either, because that one will get deleted. But yes, Brave New World is our next episode. We are very excited about it. So tune in.
They're tuning up the ads. The only thing we ain't seen is Liv Tyler. But they've confirmed Adamantium. They weren't doing that before.
They got Sam. They got Anthony Mackie doing so much promo. Did you know they had that man jump out of the plane?
Yeah, I saw.
I was like, they got the man jumping out of the plane. He going to the HBCUs. He got his I think he was on Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. The man is everywhere. So I like the fact that we not shortchanging Sam Wilson as Captain America. The promo is getting promoed.
They confirmed in Doomsday and Secret Wars he will be leading the Avengers. So he's Captain America to stay.
Captain America.
So
very excited. I can't wait till Friday. Actually, can't wait till Tuesday because Beyonce. We're going to get some Beyonce tickets.
Exciting week.
And then the stressful week. And then we'll end it with Captain America. All right. So thanks for listening to our episode. If you like our show, please give it a share. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can also leave us a voicemail. If it's nice, we will play it on our show. If it's not nice, I will put it on every social media platform and give you a rebuttal and then tag you if I can find you, just to let you know. You can also follow us on Threads and IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. We're also on Blue Sky and the Bird app at Vaguely Nerdy Pod. We're also on TikTok, as it is for now, at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. Give us a share there as well. You can reach us on Gmail at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com. And if you're listening to us on a podcast app, you can also watch our animated show on YouTube, where we are Vaguely Nerdy Podcast.
Until next time.
Bye.